as we're about to play some Rise of Harlock.
Dang, that was cool.
The Rise of Harlock, episode 6. Last episode. Quality right there. Yeah, last episode. The Ghosty ones, as the group is now called. Ghost, that's it, right? Ghosty ones. You guys found some of the Blight as you were adventuring with the Rusko Noala, and she led you to a infestation of Blight where you questioned some wererats and found out about a laboratory farther in the north. You guys fought your way to the laboratory, taking out a shambling mound and some other wererats. As you made your way inside the lab, you had to face off against some wererats that were throwing strange vials that when they hit you, they would have special random effects. You fought your way into the lab, uncovering a journal which spoke of a couple new names that you haven't heard before, like the Mistress, but also spoke of Zilree and Hazim, and maybe shed some light on just what's happening on the northern part of Novavasi. Then you made your way into the back of the laboratory where you fought the wererat alchemist, and then the blood ooze exploded from the body, but you were able to kill it thanks to some tanking by Yuska, some well-placed crossbow shots keeping your distance. However, after you killed the wererat alchemist and the blood ooze, an argument ensued between the group as some people wanted to protect this device that was fueling this blood ooze in hopes that it could be used to revert the corruption on the outside, where others wanted to destroy it to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. But you chose to take a long rest. You barricaded the doors to the outside of the laboratory, and with Sylvia watching over you as you guys slept for your long rest, you hit level 4. You have all your spells and your health back, and we're going to pick up in the morning after the long rest as you all awake in the alchemist laboratory. So, Ghosty ones.
Such a sad name. Like Doomsdayers.
On this 17th of Eventh, getting closer to fall and the Harvest Festival. It is a chilly but calm morning. What would you all like to do?
Did anything happen overnight?
No, it was a real quiet evening. You watched the front door. It was barricaded very well by the different parts of the lab and the boxes and crates, but nothing disturbed the sleep.
So the machine is intact in one area, right? Because I remember one of them being destroyed.
I destroyed 2 of them.
2 of them. Okay, so one of them is fine?
Yep.
Okay. And I already looked at that last night. I remember that. Okay.
So he destroyed 2 of the big vials. The 2 that he destroyed. So the one that you were able to save is the one that got the first section of blood that came out of the human. He destroyed the 2 that had some like poison alchemical concoctions into it that were used to mix with the blood before it went back in.
Okay. You could just take a long look at it and walk out.
Is the party done doing its research on this contraption?
Think so.
Okay, because all I know is we all agreed that when we leave the cave, we destroy what's left of the contraption. So if anyone wants to do anything with it, now would be the time.
You guys didn't take magic?
Yeah, I'm gonna give the place a once over.
Okay.
Sorry, that's embarrassing. I forgot I muted myself.
So a lot of the
Perception.
the cauldrons that were made the night before have since, as the fires faded off, they have dulled and now they're like a hard sludge. And they have stopped giving off magic after they turn into this harder sludge. There is a faint bit of magic on the contraption where the blood ooze sprouted from the human. And even though the other two parts are destroyed, they still give off a faint bit of magic.
Okay.
And it's transmutative.
But nothing else in any of the other rooms.
And no, nothing else gives off any sort. You do pick up magic coming from the bag of holding that you have, the scythe.
Okay. Yuska's gonna look at the bag very confused because I haven't noticed that yet.
Is everybody ready to go?
I will ask though, Bruce, the longsword that the we'll call him the Captain Rat had, is that something that I can pick up and use?
Yeah, it's just a regular longsword.
Okay, I'll grab that since I forgot. It should still be sitting there from last night.
Okay. It's a little rusted, the edges are a little serrated, but it'll do the job.
Okay.
He hasn't took very good care of it, but it'll slice people if you hit him with it.
That's the hard part.
You'd also pick up a couple bits of magic coming from Silas's belt, and he has a couple of the potions that he took the night before in his belt loop that you saw too.
Okay.
He has them too.
She have 1 or 2 left. 1,
I think
2.
it's 3.
You grab 4?
You grab.
No, I have 4 left. I got 5.
You grab 5?
Yes.
Alright.
I also have 5. So we have wild magic for a while.
Seems like we're gonna have some fun for the next couple sessions.
Who does not have any?
I don't.
I
actually.
don't have any.
I will
Give
give.
them fighters anything.
I'll give them 1 of each. Well, I'll give each of them 1.
Okay.
Thanks.
Alright. Thank you.
So Sylvia and Lucan have 1 wild magic vial.
Eek doesn't say anything as I leave. Little sulky.
As you guys go to the front of the cavern to start to move away some of the debris, on the other side you can hear some of the stacked of chairs and tables being kind of pushed to the side slowly, carefully, cautiously. Maybe coming from this area over here. So you put a whole bunch of stuff in here to block the doors. And as you're moving it away, you can hear someone is clearing it on the other side.
I'm gonna draw my bow.
Yeah, I'll pull up both my swords. Their sword and flint.
Eek would hide behind Yuska.
Okay, give me a stealth.
Eek and Eek is not being stealthy.
Okay.
Yeah, Lucan's just slowly walking, reading his book through the side passage.
Yeah, Yuska will give a motion that somebody is coming, but he's not gonna try to be stealthy.
From the other side you hear, who would have piled this high?
Huh.
I follow the tracks right to here.
Guys, I
Oh,
think
it's
that's our
her.
friend. I think that's our friend.
Mhm.
You see a little Risco, top of her ears start to poke through as she's pushing stuff.
I'll go help move stuff out of the way.
When she hears some of the boxes being removed, she steps back a bit and she looks, and she sees just a little part of Sylvia. Is that you, Sylvia, back there hiding?
Yeah, we're all in here. Barricaded ourselves in so nobody can get in while we're sleeping.
Is it safe?
Yeah, it's safe. Here, we'll move some of the stuff out of the way so you can get in.
Takes a minute or two, but You're able to clear a path, and she walks up to the 5 of you. I thought I lost you.
Not that easy.
I caught a couple of the wolves that were growing pus and scabs, and I burned their bodies and then followed the tracks from the den. And then here you are. Here you are.
Yeah, we weren't really trying to keep our trail unknown. I'm glad you found us, though.
Could I do an insight check? I want to just see if she's trying to be a bit protective or a bit selective with her words.
Okay. She looks, with a 10, she looks like she's happy that she found you. Do you have any news on what corrupts the land? What starts the blight?
I think whatever they were working on in here may be a part of it. I don't know if it is the complete source of it, but is definitely contributing. But, I don't think that will be much of an issue here anymore.
She looks past it. She sees a couple of dead wererat bodies on the floor. Good to know that you can hold your own in a fight. I tracked some of those kind a little farther to the north before I found you. I can find the tracks again if you want to go deeper into the blight. But I understand if you want to get back to town and take a rest and spend your hard-earned coin.
Well, I'm willing to continue if everybody else is.
Isn't this the cause of the blight, though? It's all this unnatural things and this potions and stuff.
Yes, but I would doubt that they would be the only ones. And this Zilree is clearly the one leading them, or at the very least is close to the one that's leading them.
Well, at any rate, Resmir does not appreciate a job half done. I say we head north and look for the rest.
The wererat's that you tracked to the north, what were they doing, and who are they with?
They weren't with anyone. They were just a couple of wererats with nothing that stood out. Not as strong as this fellow, and she points at one of the wererats that's covered in the armor. I just followed them to the north, but they did walk away from the tainted lands and went to a valley that was not corrupted. Maybe they didn't have anything to do with this, but I don't trust wererats.
Maybe they're trying to corrupt that valley next.
She rubs her chin.
While we have you here, can you... I'm gonna hand her the sickle and see if she can use her magic.
Well, I was gonna say, do we want her to identify the sickle or the wand?
Oh, that's a good point.
I would say the wand.
Okay. You can give her the wand.
Going for the wand. So you hand her the wand of it's a long candlestick, and the very tip of it is an extinguished light. So she touches it. She looks at it very curiously, and as she does, it rises up out of her hands and then slowly starts to spin in a circle, and then it lands, and she goes, "This is a wand of whispers."
What does it whisper?
Whatever you wish it to. Wish it to. So it's a wand. You can use it to make a 5-foot radius light, so very dim light. It has 6 charges. You can use it to cast message or sending. Message is 1 charge, sending is 3 charges. And if you have any spells under level 3, you can expend one of the charges to cast the spell without having to use verbal components. So it's easier to hide if you want to cast a spell and burn a component. Regains charges at dusk every day. If you do spin the charge and has one left, you have to roll a d20. And on a 1, the wand dies.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Does anyone want it?
I mean, Yuska will take it.
I am not very magically inclined, so I do not need it.
Somebody who wants it, it does take 1 attunement slot.
Yeah, Yuska will take it.
Okay. Yuska has the Wand of Whispers. Give yourself sending in message. And it's under your character chart, or your character folder. So she hands the wand to Yuska. So, are we going north, and I'll show you where the tracks are, or do you want to go back to Nova Vasi?
Actually, I was thinking that you could just show me the tracks and then you can go back to Nova Vasi because we did this one by ourselves. So we could probably go to the north by ourselves too.
She gives you like a bow. Of course, young Ikanik. Come with me.
Yuska's gonna incite her, because she's not doing her little voice thing. He's a little suspicious of her intentions.
Go for it. With a 20, you are right. She is not lisping as hard as she was when she first met you.
Maybe it's because she's more comfortable with us?
You don't know shit. Shut up.
I don't.
Noella, she turns and she like half trots, half skips. She begins to lead you all out of this
Alright.
alchemical blight.
You could follow close behind.
If we're leaving now, I'm going to start breaking some stuff to make sure it's not used again. This is your last warning, whoever wishes to use it. And at that, Lucan's going to walk back to make sure the contraption is not working.
You got it?
It'll probably also, if possible, if it's not too heavy, tip the wild magic stuff away from him. Like, tip the cauldrons so they empty.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with him and help him. So.
Okay. It's pretty easy, dude.
The cauldrons are sludge.
I would be careful when if you're doing that. Them dumping that is what caused the blight. That's sludge.
Too late.
Behind you here.
Fucking humans.
So you destroy the cauldrons and the contraption that was attached to the humans and the chains?
Yeah, same as, yeah.
Were there like big explosions? Were we like walking away with like big explosions going on behind us, walking all cool?
Cool guys that look at explosions.
I like to imagine a couple of like the rocks on the ground as those sludge touches them turn into like butterflies and stuff like that. So not really explosions.
But we're still walking away.
Release the gun.
Let's roll for it. So you tip the cauldron of wild magic over, and as it hits, Sylvia and Luke can make dex saves.
Oh god.
It's like little Nicky.
Oh god.
Popeye's chick is freaking awesome. Luke and you walk away unscathed. Sylvia, as you're walking away, these pink bubbles float out from the wild magic and into your mouth. And for the next minute, you cannot speak, and you only speak in pink bubbles.
Yeah.
So you walk out and just... It's like you're underwater, but the bubbles are pink.
Yuska watching all of this is just gonna sigh and just say, you all really should think about your actions before you do things.
You just see a bunch of bubbles come out of my mouth.
He's gonna shake his head. He's gonna shake his head. And while Nuala is out of I guess listening distance, Yuska will lean into Eek and
She is with Noella. She followed right behind her. She did not know any of this.
You can message her. Or send... Is it... Messages is small.
Whispers.
I will do exactly that. This thing is very interesting. Cast message. And I'll just whisper into it, I don't trust Nuala. She's being kind of suspicious since we've ventured deep into here.
You can reply as a whisper too.
Well, yep, kind of said that before, but whatever.
Yeah, you're good. 25. Is it 25 words? Or that's Cindy.
No, that's a different
Cindy.
one,
Yeah,
though.
that's Cindy.
Oh.
Yeah, Cindy's a 25 worder. I just like the critical role where the jester's always counting her words and then she has to stop. So you hold out the wand, and when you give the message, the wand, the tip of it, the fire kind of brightens, and then once the message sends, it goes off. So anyone that was around you, they would just see the wand and fade. Then after the destruction, and about a minute passes of pink bubbles, Nuala leads you through the Blight. Now, the Blight looks like it's a little different from before because if you remember, the Blight looked, it was like dead. And then there's like layers of it. So as you walked for a bit, it was death. And then it looked like it was starting to regrow, but it was regrowing in a strange way. There's more of, because you're going the same way you came, you're going back towards that same den, but more of the Blight that was once dead is now regrowing back, but regrowing with crooked branches and trees. Those same gnats that flutter and fly around, then when you swat them, they burst into flame and they turn to ash and give off that terrible smell. More of that, the Blight that was closer to this alchemical laboratory is spreading out further now. But it only spreads to where the Blight once was. So you walk through more and more of this. I guess what you could say is like a Blight on steroids, and then it goes into a normal sort of Blight that you might have read about or seen before in your adventures, and then it goes back into she gets to the den, she goes past the den.
Wait. She's showing us the tracks?
Yeah.
To this place? Or like, is she following the tracks?
She's taking you to where she found the tracks.
She found the tracks way the fuck out here?
By the den where you left her.
Okay.
So she leads you, I mean, it's good ways to get there. So she leads you back to that same den where you first found the two wererats and the half-eaten gargantuan wolf. That she goes a little bit farther away towards the west. And then when she leads you to this farther part into the west, the trees start to give way into normal trees. Now, normal being normal Nevermore Expanse, where it's like, it's still a little dark, but you're not stepping on mushy, rotted ground. It's just half-dead ground. And then you emerge from this Blight, the fog's still above you, but it's normal from what you've been seeing so far as you travel. And then you travel for about a half hour or so. And then
do a perception check.
Sure. $23.
I'm gonna have to summon my steed at this point too.
You got it?
We're traveling.
Traveling with a 23 perception, nothing jumps out at you that would give you any pause, except Nuala is very much making like a beeline, not really looking around. She's just kind of marching towards the tracks, which is kind of weird. Because usually someone that leads, they're kind of aware of their surroundings. They look around. They want to make sure there's no danger, but she is just like walking with a purpose, going in the direction that she's leading you.
Okay. As I start to notice this, I try to catch up to her because I was kind of walking next to Yuska. And I'll just kind of shuffle really fast. Say, Noah, where are you going? What did you do? Earlier before in your life, yeah. Did you live in the
I have, yes. I've lived in the woods my whole life. My whole life.
Did you live in these woods?
No. And then she walks away.
I'm gonna try to tackle her.
You're gonna tackle her? All right.
I'm so sorry.
Make a athletics check.
Oh, I really should not do athletic things. Okay.
13's pretty good. You lunge at her to grab her, and she steps to the side out of the way.
He could just kind of fall forward and yell really viciously, but then fall.
Like you're trying to play it off?
Slowly get up.
Okay.
I mean, it's very, very intentional about what she was doing. She can't hide it.
Make a performance with disadvantage.
Leave her alone. She's leading us to where we need to go. The more you distract her, the better the chances are we'll walk into something we're not supposed to.
She's leading us somewhere wrong. She doesn't even know these woods, and she's going so fast. And he could try to stand back up. It's not very tall.
You stand up, and Noala's just kind of looking at you. Then she looks over to Lucan. I don't think your friend likes me very much.
At that, he could turn her head really quickly and glare at her.
She can have a bit of a temper, unfortunately. But she means well.
Noala, why are you going so fast? How do you not know that we're going to be in danger later?
I just believe that I have 5 able bodies behind me that can protect me if needed.
Did you walk this fast when you were first going?
Oh, no. Very cautious. Danger everywhere.
What, did you see any danger on your first walk through?
Yes, and I killed the wolves that were covered in the blight and the scabs, and I burnt the bodies.
At the den, not here.
No, I captured more this way. I'm showing you. Come, follow.
I want insight to see if she's leading us into a trap.
Okay.
Sowing the seeds of doubt.
17. With a 17 and with a 14, she doesn't give off anything that would say she's lying. She seems like she believes that there's no danger.
Ikanik would cross her arms and go back to Yuska and look up at him. Very intentionally, 2-second stare, and then climb up on his back.
When she gets up there, I'm gonna just whisper and just say, sometimes watching is the best course of action, little buddy.
Well, I just think you need to teach me how to jump on people.
When we get a chance, I will do so.
I'm gonna start walking further behind the party with my bow out.
Okay. She leads you, and this area is now completely blight-free as you've been walking for a couple hours. Past the den where you first encountered the blight, much further towards the west. And as you do, it opens up a bit into a hillside of small valleys and crevasses, and spotted trees here and there. And there's also a very small mountain peak in the background. Not a very large one, but enough to showcase and to have some sort of mountain life there. But she points over towards the valleys. We're close now. We're almost there. You can trust me.
I thought we were heading towards the Blight. Why is there nothing here?
I'm showing you where I found the tracks.
I suppose that's not too odd.
Do you disrespect me because I am a Rusko and because you think I come from the below? Is that why you hate me?
Who's she talking to exactly?
She's looking at Ikanik.
Ikanik would be glaring at her, and she's like, no, it's because you pretend to be a ranger.
But I am a ranger.
No, you're not.
I hope to one day make an animal friend that will follow me.
Not here.
She's going to...
Do it. Do it, bitch. Just kidding, I'm sorry.
She looks at you like she wants to say something, but she looks a little hurt, and then she does like an about face and starts to walk towards the valley.
Eek and eek. When she sees that, would stick her tongue out.
She walks about 10 more minutes, and then she stops, and then she kneels down. She motions for the 5 of you to come over. But at this point, what was once a bright sunny day for the Nevermore Expanse has gotten extremely more cloudy. So it makes it not dim light, but a little harder to see. But she points down, and you can see there's about a dozen small wererat tracks that lead down into the valley in front of her.
A dozen?
Here are the tracks. But I
Okay,
am...
great. You can go now.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not wanted. Goodbye. And she starts to walk away.
Bye. See you never.
She stops after about walking
You
50
shouldn't
feet.
be so rude, little buddy.
She looks over her shoulder back at the party. And she starts to walk away.
Can I inside that check as if she was like, it was like maybe remorseful, like, oh no, I sent them to their death. Oh well.
Sure.
Okay. Ta-da-da. Inside check.
She has liquor remorse, but it's hard to tell if it's because she's leading you to your death or she's just sad that she's not going to be there.
Yeah, because there's a small little owl that's just being unnecessarily rude.
Big dick energy. Get with me.
So in front of you is it's a valley that leads into more smaller valleys that are in this like hillside, and then there's a mountain peak around the valleys that goes farther back, and then the dozen wererat tracks that lead down into the valley. Besides that, there's no blight here. There's no trace of it at all. It's a peaceful part of this small forest.
Eek would get off of Yuska's shoulders and try to examine the tracks and see if she could find out where they're leading or how many there are exactly, and any signs of blight. I mean, obviously we don't see any, but maybe there's some nefarious things going on.
Sure. You want survival? Or you want nature? What's better for you? Since you're a ranger.
Survival. Please.
You got it. 22 or 21. The 21, you count about 8 sets of tracks that lead down into the valley. And you can see a set that lead out of the valley and go in the direction that you guys came from. And then kind of fade off a bit. And they look to be about 2 days old. And then the tracks that lead down into the valley look to be very fresh.
Do I see Rusco tracks?
Only the tracks that she left when she came. And then in terms of blight, nothing sticks out. This place looks to be pretty healthy.
Okay, I relay that with the group that 8 tracks or so, possibly 8 wererats, one going this way, coming back from where we went.
With the 21, you'd also know from this point, you're about a 2-day ride back to Novovasi.
That was very specific, thank you.
Range of power.
We're about 2 days out from the city.
Alright, and these tracks here give you enough of a lead that you can take us to where they're from?
Oh yeah,
Where
yeah,
they're
no,
going?
I can do that. It's very easy. Mm-hmm.
What time of day is it?
It's getting a little late in the day since you guys have been walking so long. It's about mid-afternoon. Sun's just starting to set overhead.
Did you say? I'm so sorry. Did you say that there was one track leading in a different direction?
Oh, from where we came.
Yeah, there's tracks coming out of the valley that go in that area you guys just walked from, like towards that den. But they look to be 2 days old.
And that's only one set of tracks?
Oh, no, there's a couple. There's With 21, five tracks.
Sure, okay.
But there's more
So there
tracks that
was-
lead down into the valley.
Okay, there wasn't one that was just kind of like going off by himself.
Nah.
Okay.
You would guess some sort of hunting party or a group traveling together.
Do you guys want to rest for the night, or do you want to take a look at this place at night to see if we can get the jump on?
I think we can get the jump on.
Well, unfortunately, I can't see very far in the dark, so I would prefer to sleep. The sunlight's pleasant. But I guess that comes down to Eek. Do you think we'd lose these tracks overnight if they're that fresh?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty good at tracking. Pretty good. But Silas, do you know anything about wererats, and do they sleep at night or in the morning?
I'm not too familiar with wererat's.
You, Scott. Do you know anything about wererats?
I don't know. Do I know anything about wererats?
Give me a history check with disadvantage.
Oh god, I'm not good at that.
12?
That's not too bad.
They're nocturnal creatures. You would know that with a 12.
Well, like most of us, they can see at night, but other than that, I don't really know much, little buddy.
Okay, nocturnal doesn't mean that. Are you going with that? Is that your final answer? Do you want to be a millionaire? Okay.
I'm
Well-
a big dumb bear. What do you expect from me?
Well,
I'm wise. I'm not smart.
Well, I say we should go because they're probably sleeping, and then if they're sleeping, then we can go and get the jump on them, like Sylvia said. And I can follow these pretty well, and yep.
Well, no one asked for my advice, but from what I know wererats, since some of our cities on the west deal with them, they're typically a nefarious street crawler, so they're probably more effective at night than during the day. That being said, if you all think that having one of your companions completely blind in the dark is more effective, I will second that, I suppose. And you can trudge with the human blindly walking. With a beacon of light from Resmir, letting everyone know within hundreds of kilometers where we are.
How about
Why
I
not?
just... Sorry, go ahead.
Why doesn't Resmir let you see in the dark?
Because that's not what he needs of me.
But we're going in the dark.
That's why I have the ability to create light. That's why he gave man the ability to create light. Is to help where we cannot help ourselves.
That was pretty good. Okay. Yeah.
How about I tie a rope to my waist and you just...
Nah,
Hold on.
Lugun's got too much dignity for that shit. Mm-mm.
Just place your hand on my shoulder.
Or that, yeah.
You can come up on my steed and ride behind me.
Oh, that works. I forgot you had your steed.
Does your steed glow in the dark?
it gives off a faint blue light. Not enough to give you like dim light, but it gives a faint blue light so you can see it, yeah.
Lucan would be content with like wrapping part of his lantern up, so it's like a very dim light that's enough that he can at least see like 2 feet in front of him. But he'd prefer not to walk in the pitch black.
A bit secretly, Ikanik would look around, try to see if she can find or remember some sort of good resting area that they might have to backtrack to or go towards away from this dangerous scenario on our one side.
So you would know. There's a couple places you could go back to. Some 15, 20 minutes away. But you also know you want to go in a way that you don't put yourself in any line with this valley. So any stragglers come out. You could also go like further a bit and go like not towards the valley, but kind of off to the side. But
And I know of such places that exist. Like we were walking past and I was like, yeah, that's probably pretty good.
yeah, you'll, because you guys kind of went almost in a line from the den towards this area. You'll know that you can like get kind of by that line, but go like away from the path a bit to give you some cover. But you also know that any sort of fire pit in the middle of the night will always attract something. So you might have to go like if you really wanted to be really safe, you'd have to go 30 minutes or so away from this tree line to give you like real good cover.
Just not make a fire. Just kind of chill in the dark.
You do that too.
She doesn't tell anybody what she did. Well, Lucan, do you want to see with us?
What do you mean by that?
Like, do you want to actually be able to see while we're traveling together to face the wererats?
It'd be helpful if it's really something that we don't want to do. I can always use Echo's sense of smell and walk blindly. And I'm sure one of you smells enough that I can find where we're going in a straight line.
It's over.
Well, so if we want to make a camp, we have to go almost all the way back to the den, and that was really far away, and we might run into Nola. So, do you need a fire with your campsite?
Not if I'm sleeping. I don't need to see. No.
Okay, then I mean we could just go back like little mile or so, and then we can set up camp, and then just not have a fire.
If that's what you think is best. I don't want to be a detriment to the team. That's for sure.
Well, with Resumer on our side, we probably won't lose.
Well, that much is certain. I appreciate your faith. It's a nice change of pace from this place.
So you're going about a mile away?
Yeah, she would start walking in a good, safe direction.
Okay. I'm gonna use the campsite, but the fire's not there. And don't mind the music.
I feel like we've been here before, guys.
Deja vu.
This is my favorite map.
Wait, I think I have, let's see this. No fire. The five of you sit in silence about a mile away from the entrance to the valley.
Can we still like see the entrance from where we are?
No. You're surrounded by trees, mostly pine. There is a small stream that's about a 10-minute walk from where you set camp. That you can hear just a little bit of the water kind of rushing slowly. And then you can hear ravens and crows chirping in the dark. But I think everyone here can see except for Lucan. So everyone's sitting here in a circle, and Lucan is just blind sitting here next to all of you.
Eek was, as they were traveling, she told Yuska where to go because she wanted to be behind them to brush away their tracks.
Sure. Okay. Good call.
And just because Yuska hasn't had really an opportunity, is this place isn't blighted at all, is it?
No.
Okay. Just because Yuska hasn't had a chance to do it, when we start making camp, I'm just gonna say, Eek, you mind coming with me for a little bit?
Yes, sure. Where are we going?
Oh, just to take care of a couple things. And I'll say to the rest of the group, I need to take care of something real quick. We'll be back in like 20-30 minutes. And I'm gonna take Eek out. We're gonna try to look for a couple seeds. I'm gonna plant a couple that I have on me.
Okay. Nice.
When you leave, Lucan's just gonna like nod his head, and he's like sitting cross-legged with his tome in the middle of his lap, and like Echo's just sitting on it, perched up. He's completely out of his element right now.
the
And
weather?
I'm-
Is it a bit chilly?
It is a bit chilly. It's getting closer to autumn, so there is a slight winter chill. Actually, let me make sure that you don't have any moonlight. Let me see what my lunar calendar says for Erenel right now. There is above you. There is a bright full moon, so there is enough dim light for Lucan to make out a little bit of sight. But it is a full moon above you.
What are the chances?
Werewolves.
But while we're doing this, I'll just say to Eek, like, especially with all this talk of Resmir and the other gods, it's important to never forget where true balance in this world and in this plane truly lies. As he's
What is
planting
that?
seeds. All of
Where's
this
the balance?
in the heart of nature.
Should go plant some seeds. She's trying to find the seeds for Yuska.
Okay. So you're just brushing some stuff and you're planting seeds into the ground, covering it up.
If well, don't the gods like all of them exist? So what? I mean, they probably created the balance. So why is this just the balance?
It seems like Resmir is something that is born for only order.
And justice.
But what is the balance to that?
Well,
If
justice
all
is balance. You do something wrong, you get punished.
yes, but
Balance.
that only exists because of the opposite. Nature is cruel and also beautiful. In it there is order, but there is also chaos.
Like justice.
Maybe sometimes.
The light bit might get in trouble sometimes in, the woods because Resmir's all about light too, but I think he's all
He doesn't seem so bad.
Yuska, do you know the other gods too?
I can't say I know all of them, but I do know the ones that I do know.
Well, I know those too, because you told me about them. How many gods are there though? How many do you think? Like 10?
Would I know how many gods there are? Probably not.
Make a religion check. You, with the 13, you know there's more than 10.
I don't know exactly how many, but there's definitely more than 10 of them.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, 10 is a kind of a lot, but yeah, I mean, the world's pretty big, so you need a lot of gods to fill it, I think. So yeah, it's good.
I do know that some are good and some are evil, but
So, what is the balance with the gods? If there's good and evil, and justice is the balance between good people and bad people, and if nature is the balance between chaos and beauty, what is the balance between the gods?
that is a good question, little one.
Wise as fuck.
But I do know that those who follow blindly are often very disappointed. Not to be mean to one of our new friends, but that's just our limited experience, I guess, with people in cities and such.
I think humans have a pretty big disadvantage to life, but there's probably a reason they were made.
Hmm. Well, I think this is enough. We should head back.
While Yusuke and Ikanik were going off to do what they're doing with their seeds, unbeknownst to you guys. Inside your mind, Sylvia, this voice rings out in your head. I have not forgotten about you, your majesty.
I was wondering when you'd come back. What do you want?
Giles is weak. You are strong. Your bloodline is strong. You will be my champion.
Are you saying that I should kill Giles?
Once he has served his purpose, then you will be rewarded.
Rewarded with what exactly?
You, Lucan and Silas, you can see Sylvia talking to herself. You can hear what she says, but you can't hear the voice that's in his head. What you seek above all things can be brought to you through me.
And what might that be exactly?
Thanks for the 10 bits, Rizzo.
Oddly specific.
All will be told to you in time. But first, you must prove yourself.
So what I'm hearing is you don't actually know what I want above all else.
The death of the one who presides over this realm. The vampire lord himself will fall before your blade. Is this not enough power?
Why should I kill Giles for you?
A favor for a favor. He is not Baron. He is not strong enough.
Then why did you kill Baron?
I did not kill Baron, and that is why you will kill Zilree for me.
I think
So-
Silas at this point would be asking Sylvia what the heck's going on.
I'll tell him after. And then I say, so Zilree betrayed you.
Yes.
I see. Interesting.
You are
And then
close.
Sorry, say that again.
You are close. She is beneath your feet. Go into the valley and kill her.
Alright. And then I'll stop talking to the voice.
Thanks for the other 10 bits, Rizzo. Appreciate it, my dude.
Who are you speaking to, and what are you agreeing with?
I'm speaking to myself, sort of. Trying to, plan out what we want to accomplish.
So you're having a one-way conversation about planning to kill Giles.
Yes.
That seems oddly suspicious, Sylvia.
Well,
I understand that she might have killed Baron and you think you have a connection with him, but we don't know that he did it himself. That seems a little far-fetched to just now, 2 days out from Novavasi, decide that he must be slain.
well, I've had some time to think about it more. I mean, I almost did kill him the couple days.
But you have no proof that he did it.
I feel like I had enough proof.
Do you mind sharing that proof?
Well, as soon as we got back, a couple days later after finding out what happened with Hazim, he seemed to be loving everything that was going on now that he was the big cheese in town.
Now, don't get me wrong, I agree it seemed suspicious, but he could easily just be enjoying the extra amount of coin he has in his pocket.
Yes. And what do men want more than anything else? More coin.
Right. So you're gonna kill him?
Probably. But there's still time for me to change my mind.
Can you guys hear all of this? Like right in front of them?
They couldn't hear the voice, but they could hear Sylvia talking back to himself. And now the conversation, you would this would be about the time the two of you walk up, so you would hear the end of this conversation as Yuska and Ikanik are walking out of the woods.
Are they talking about Giles as if he wasn't there?
Giles isn't.
Is he there or is he not there?
Giles is not here.
Giles is
Giles is not here.
That would have been awkward.
Well, all I have to suggest is before you make any brash decisions, just keep in mind that Giles might not know it yet, but he is a disciple of Resmir, and that deserves a level of law that we need to prove in order to slay him.
Fair enough. Like I said, we're not back yet, so we still have plenty of time for me to think. Zilree, on the other hand, I have a feeling she's going to be in this valley. We need to take her out.
What makes you think that? If anything, wouldn't that alchemist's mistress be here? If the paths seem to connect like they do?
I have a feeling that Zilree and the mistress might be the same person.
But didn't the journal list it as though they were two different? Look, it's a rat.
The mistress is not the seer.
No, we know it's not the seer. I can't exactly remember if Zilree was mentioned herself.
Yeah, there was a passage in the diary in the later half that mentions Zilree by name, but also uses the word mistress, which makes it sound like it's two different people, but it could be the same person.
I think Lucan has the journal in his books, or was it in the bag? Might have been in the bag.
Either way, yeah. The last entry
okay,
says
yes.
It's the mistress.
Yeah, I found this.
More revered than Zilree, so they're definitely two different people.
Okay, yeah. Well, then my whole
Not
argument is
necessarily.
void.
It's okay. Lucan doesn't do much, but he remembers the books.
I don't know, I just have a feeling that Zilree's around. We've been chasing her tail for a while now.
This is true, but you talking to yourself makes it seem like there's more going on than there is.
I didn't see any human tracks, if Zilree's a human.
I think we discerned that we think that she might be a shapeshifter earlier. We don't know
I
what
still
she
think
is.
she just might be an elf or a half-elf. Especially with this alchemist business going on, it wouldn't surprise me if some form of nefarious sacrificial voodoo, or whatever you want to call it, has happened and she's turned.
Fair enough. I guess we'll have to find out.
Alright, well, I can barely see, so I am going to sleep now. If anyone wishes to wake me, do so, but make sure it's for a good reason. I do enjoy my sleep. And at that, he's just gonna, like, lay down and just lay on his... Like, he doesn't even cover himself, because he just can't really see. So he's now just laying with a cat on his stomach.
Okay. Is there anything else the rest of you want to do before the night goes and Sylvia keeps watch?
I'd probably stay up like half the night at least.
Okay.
Yeah, Yuska is going to spend at least the duration of one watch to do all of his little druidy things, commune and all that.
Cool.
Or attempt to.
Give
And he will
me
also
perceptions.
add a ethereal into that.
Okay. So Yuska, Silas, Sylvia. Give me a perception roll for the first watch. Yuska with a 23. Yeah, that's a perception bot right there. That observe feat.
Well, it's only passive.
Yeah, that's true.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But my passive is 21, so.
The 23. A little ways from camp, Yuska, you hear. And you just see from the very edge of your eyesight, you can see a couple of wild boars are just scrounging a little ways away, just eating some moss off of the side of a tree. Keeping pretty far away from the group, but looks like there's 3 of them in the distance in the shadows. And then I wrote on the second watch that Sylvia has is you see Lucan kind of roll and land on his shoulder and his arm, so he's like sleeping very awkwardly.
I just let him sleep.
The sun starts to slowly rise. Lucan, as you sit up, your arm is numb and you have -2 dex for the next hour.
Oh man. I didn't think that would happen. My bad.
You slept on your arm kind of funny. You wake up like, oh, you shake your hand and wait for the blood to flow again.
If Rezmir wills it.
I have a meta question for the team. In my notes from session 4, so 2 sessions ago, when we found the note in the stump, I wrote Zilree ? Under it, I wrote large eyes and pointed ears. Sightless Seer doesn't approve of her work. Who do we know has pointed ears? Maybe a fox. Just saying.
Don't even start this stuff with me right now.
No, man, it's all in the fucking. It's in the book. You know books.
We'll find out soon enough.
Yep.
I'd be
It's
surprised.
so fucking intelligent. Nobody even understands.
So as you rise, prepare your spells for the day.
The dumb intelligence.
Lucan, when you're preparing your spells for the day and you're going through your Rezmir book, you get to the end and the last page. But you haven't written anything yet on this page. But as you turn to the page, it says on it. I'm gonna type it out. So you're flipping through your spell book, your Rezmir tome, and it says, in its very elegant golden scripture, Sylvia is not to be trusted. Silas could be the key to pierce the veil. And you see it, and then you read it, and then as you read it, the words slowly just fade off the page.
Interesting.
You wake up to clear skies. Nice clear skies. The sun has just risen on this next day. Ghosty ones, what would you like to do?
I could go on with this theory that she is the mistress, but I'm gonna hold myself back because Eek doesn't know anything.
Yuska would definitely, if Eek's gonna go on that tangent, Yuska's definitely gonna like slap her. Well,
No,
slap her
she
down with
doesn't
some
say
wisdom.
anything. She wakes up, she stretches, yawns, gets her stuff together. That's it.
So everyone's just packing their stuff, and you're going to walk towards the canyon, or the
Back towards the valley.
the valley. Yeah, sorry.
Eek would lead the way and making sure to be extra vigilant.
Sure.
Go a little slower.
You walk about 15 minutes, then as you're walking, before you is something that none of you have seen before. It's this large archway. And along the archway, it looks like a portal into another dimension. And there's these small scripture, like runic writings along the archway. And then inside, in the center where this portal would be, is this bluish fluorescent light that slowly fades. And behind it, it looks like a stone wall. It is a Erenel archway pulsing close to you.
Oh, is that thing where it's that puzzle and time doesn't pass while we're in it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Coin.
It would stop and her eyes go really wide, like a deer in the headlights. And that's
May
She
Resmir
just keeps
guide
staring
us.
at
I've never seen one of these before. Do you know what we've ran into? This is an archway. We can't pass this up.
what's an archway.
I
It's-
think
I'm
I've heard
totally down.
stories of them, but I don't know.
It's created from the offshoot of Arcana of Al Madun. It's like its own pocket version of Erenel, or so I believe. And inside it there are great treasures. This is something we should definitely take a look at.
Can we get back from going in there? Like, will it lead us closer to the wererat?
I'm not very versed in the way of pocket dimensions, but from what I understand, as soon as you leave, you come out in the exact same spot you entered. So it's not like we're gonna miss out on popping out somewhere really far away.
Do we know that if we go in and come back out, it'll be no time will pass?
If Lucan knows that, he doesn't say that.
Would anybody else in the party know that?
Anyone proficient in Arcana?
Nope.
Not I.
So only Luca knows, but he's not saying. Because he's a book-learned man.
All I know is that it's something we definitely look at. There's a finite amount of them, supposedly. Or at least that's what the books back home say.
Is it
And
safe?
Safe enough. I've never heard of anyone dying. That being said, I'm sure if someone did die inside one, they were inside it, and no one was the wiser.
I'd say if there's a finite amount, we must look at it.
Yusuke's gonna tilt his head and he's just gonna walk in.
You got it?
Well, I guess we're going in.
You could rush after him, like, wait, no!
Lucan's gonna rush in as well.
Curiosity killed the bear. Except
Yeah, I'm still on the course, hopefully.
So for those that are watching, archways are these small rifts like Diablo rifts that players can step into when they find them. And if they complete the puzzle or encounter, they earn archway coins, which can be used to enchant their weapons or armor. The enchants cost archway coins like a currency, and the enchants are from D&D 3rd edition. So you get some of the cool 3rd edition stuff. The 5 of you step in. Echo is gone. Your Nevermore steed is gone. Only the 5 of you stand in this small 20 by 20 foot room. The room is surrounded by a stone wall, 10 feet high, and then there's a stone ceiling above you. In the middle of the room is a large raised stone plinth, and even though this picture has 6 hands, there's room for 5 hands, and it shows 5 different hands, and each hand that it shows matches your character. So there's an Avi's hand, there's human hands, there's a Sanguis hand, there's an Ursus hand.
Well, this seems too convenient to be not willed by the gods. And at that, Lucan will put his hand into his place.
I will also put my hand into its place.
And they both put their hands in, it flashes with this blue light, and it's almost like your hand molds into the stone, and you can't remove it. It's like whoosh.
Oh crap! What we do?
Yusuke will put his hand in.
No, wait, what? Why are
Same
you
thing happens
doing?
when you put your hand in, and it sticks.
What does it feel like? Are you in pain? Does it hurt?
Not really.
Do I have to put my hand in there too? I mean, Kyle's isn't doing it. I mean, Silas isn't doing it.
Giles, kill him!
Well, I suggest you do it. It's not harmful. It just feels like someone's sitting on your hand.
It's not harmful yet.
I'm gonna give him like a glance of just like, shut the fuck up.
Silas, are you gonna put your hand in?
We have to start the escape room, and they have to lock your hands to the door. So
You're mute,
Alright.
Silas.
Yeah, you're muted.
My bad. I suppose we must if the other three have.
Seems like a poor reason to me, but okay, we can die together.
The last two you put your hands in. So we're starting off. This is the first archway for the campaign, so it's a little easier than some. As the 5 of your hands sit into this stone plinth, text appears on the top. Guilty souls are bound to me. Confess a sin and be set free.
Well, Sylvia, you're from the Nevermore Expanse. I'm sure you have plenty of sins. Why don't you lead the way?
Oh, thanks. I have killed many humans because of hunger.
There's a flash of light around the hand, Sylvia's hand, and then lets him free. He pulls his hand out.
Well, that wasn't so bad.
I
suppose ignorance-
Sylvia is ashen.
Say that again.
I am the reason Sylvia is ashen.
Ooh, okay, you said that.
That's interesting.
Your hand emerges from the stone as you say that. Silas's hand is free.
Is that a sin? You just know the reason she's ashen?
No,
So I
is
said
the
I
said-
am the
he
reason.
said he
You
is the
are
reason.
Oh, okay, that's much better.
We call this
Maybe-
the archway that breaks the ice.
I wonder if ignorance could be a sin. Not knowing why I'm even up here. Following just visions from a god that I don't know who. Never even seeking out my brothers and sisters that have gone after me and gone before.
It doesn't let you remove your hand from the ignorance, but when you say that you haven't searched out your brothers and sisters, and then your hand emerges from the stone. So it's Lucan and Ikanik are left with their hands stuck to the stone.
Eek would try to get her hand back in just every few seconds.
I fled my church in its greatest time of need, and because of that, more lost their lives than they needed.
And then with that, Lucan's hand is removed from the stone.
Well, I don't really know what I did, so Yuska, can you help me?
You have
I
no
don't know
guilt
if
in
I
your
can-
soul?
I don't know if I can help you with this one, little buddy.
What did I do?
You look
I
around
didn't
the
do
room,
anything.
and water is starting to pour now into the ceiling, from the ceiling onto the floor.
She's only 3 feet high. Oh, Jesus.
What makes your stomach curl as though you had eaten rotten cheese?
I'm jealous of Nola because I think Yuska likes her more than me.
And with that, your hand, you pull it off.
She thinks of it. She screws up Yuska's body so much. She's a little bit.
I love
Is
the
that the
level
reason why you
difference
just
of
arrested her?
There's a lot of different sins in there, isn't there?
Some of those are way bigger than others.
Yep.
You feel your body lurch like you're about to vomit, and then you're thrown out of the archway. And the 5 of you land back now into the forest that you once came, and the single archway coin rests in between the 5 of you.
Wait, one between the 5 of us?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Calm down, Rogue.
No, I thought we each got one.
I mean, it's an enchantment at level 4, so...
Uh-huh.
If you scroll down on that thing, you can see what you can spend 1 on. So if it has like a +1 modifier, you can spend the coin to give any armor or weapon that +1.
Do we have to spend them right away?
Now you can store 'em.
We should totally store them.
Yeah. I say we store this in the bag.
So you could take the coin, you could smash it on your armor, makes it a +1 armor. Smash it on your weapon, makes it a +1 weapon. So on. But like Rizzo in the Dying Embers game smashed it onto his shield, so now he can use a command word in his shield. He doesn't have to hold it. It just floats around him and gives him +2 AC, then uses a two-handed weapon. You can do things like that. Cool. Rizzo says Silas deserves the coin for Ash and Sylvia.
I'd rather have a couple more to do what I want.
Well, now that that's done, shall we continue to what we were?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yep.
So you make your way back to the trail.
So we're putting the coin in the bag.
Coin in the bag. Yeah.
I've been forgetting that I'm the one editing this.
So you're holding it?
What else did I put in that bag? We put the contraption, Eek's contraption in there, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Rift would be great.
And then nothing else.
And Seeking. It's pretty dope.
Cool.
So-
Got 'em.
So the five of you begin walking back towards the hillside valley, towards that small canyon. After hearing each of you confess a sin about your life to free yourself from bondage of the stone and getting the Archway coin.
Yuska's gonna just whisper, well, not necessarily whisper to Eek, but he's gonna say, I'm gonna have to use this wand later, and you're going to have to apologize, Nuala.
But I don't think she's very nice.
Well, we have no proof of that quite yet. And, little buddy, we've been together for a while. There's nothing to worry about.
Well, I just don't want her joining the group. I think we have enough people.
And that's fine. I can't say that I'm particularly comfortable in crowds anyway.
Okay. I'm not going to apologize.
You walk for a bit, but you eventually make your way back to the same spot where you saw the tracks before. The tracks are a little more faded, but you're able to find them, being a master ranger. And you see no fresh tracks, no new tracks have come either in or out. And you see the same amount of tracks that lead inward as outward. The valleys around you. You walk down. You're going down the valley. You guys want to walk down the valley?
I would try to. So Eek would try to estimate where the trail would go, estimating by the way that the footsteps are going, and try to lead the group in a roundabout way so that they're not following the main path anymore.
Okay. It's pretty easy to do. So what would happen is that would lead you into the mouth of the valley for a bit, because then the valley would split, and you would see the valley splits into 4 different crevices, and they stick to the far right, so they continue on to the far right for a bit. But as you see how the far right crevasse leads you into this valley, the crevasse is much larger than the other 3, and it almost looks like it leads closer towards that one mountain peak. The tough part, though, is that as you're getting down this valley a bit, there's no tree cover. There's no rocks. It's just an open valley that leads directly down this trail where these wererat footprints are leading you.
Like a grassy plain?
Yeah.
How tall is the grass?
A couple inches.
You're not a raptor running through the woods. You're through the...
How fast can Ekenik crawl on her hands and knees as a ranger?
Half speed. It'd be like crawl. It'd be like being prone.
Doing one of those zombie crawls on the ground.
Is that what you're doing? Are you just jumping down and crawl? So
she's trying to be with the grass level, but it's not.
You're crawling on the ground as I ride on a horse.
Yeah, and Lucan would probably be walking at speed next to you, just reading his book. Just taking a step, waiting a couple of seconds, taking a step, waiting a couple of seconds, taking a step.
If Silas ever walks in front of her, she's like, Silas, go back.
Yusuke's just gonna sigh and just keep pace.
Every few feet, she'd lift her head up like a prairie dog.
You guys
When
walk.
she's absolutely certain there's no danger, she would walk normally and tell the group that they're fine.
Okay. You walk for a bit, and then out at the very edge of your eyesight, you can see the mouth of this large valley goes into a wooden palisade, like a wall spans the valley from one end to the other end. And there's a set of gigantic double doors set into the center of this wooden palisade, like just a large wall. And it sits almost 30 feet high. At the very top of the walls, where you see those squares, are sharp points.
I'm gonna cast False Life as soon as I see this wall. For some reason, it's not displaying the text, but I don't. Yeah.
You would kind of like look over at Lucan and ask him, can wererats build walls?
I don't see why not. They're not highly intelligent, but from what I understand, they're at least a little bit. Wherever I've heard of them, or heard where they are at least, they typically don't need to build walls, they're already in cities. So maybe?
Okay.
At first glance, you don't see anything outside the walls that would give you pause, and Yusuke, with your high perception, nothing sticks out at you as dangerous. But you do see, Ekenik, that the wererat tracks lead directly into that double door built into the wooden palisade.
And is it just wererat tracks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's the same 8 that go inward and then the few that come outward.
Are there any cracks in the wall or anything that we'd be able to see through?
Yeah, if you get closer enough, you can peek through a couple cracks. It's not like an extremely well built wall, but it's just it does its job to protect from the outside. But if you get close enough, you can look through the wood logs.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to the wall and look through the wall.
Sure.
See if I can see that.
So as you get close, as you peek through the cracks, beyond the palisade is a well-trodden yard. Small wooden hut is built against the southern rocks of the wall, facing a squat stone fortress on the opposite side. You also see a guard tower in the center of this yard, and there's a wererat guard that is in the top of the tower, though he's not doing a very good job of patrolling or looking around. He's just he's sitting there just looking off in the distance. Looks like he's eating something. And then there are 2 wererat in this yard also, backs to you, and they are looks like they're starting to build a fire. And this is what you would see.
I'm gonna, after I see all that, I'm gonna go tell the party what I see and suggest that we should be very stealthy.
Ika's going to try to find a different way in.
Okay.
How tall is this wall?
So the wall's 30 feet, and there's some sharp, like they carved out the logs to look a little menacingly. The canyon, though, is about 80 feet up. And then
Is the canyon traversable?
It'd be tough, but you could try it. This is the tower that you saw with the wererat guard in the tower. And then this is the small hut right here. 2 wererat building a fire. And then a guard is up here.
Are the doors locked at all? Like, if we were to push on them, would they open?
It's hard to tell. You can give them a push and try if you want, or kind of just like a slight nudge.
Slight nudge.
With a slight push, there's some sort of bar on the other side that creaks a little bit when you push it. Like it's barricaded.
Is it something that can be maneuvered from our side through slats and all, or is it kind of like a solid wood piece that can't be moved?
Peering through the cracks, it's a solid wood piece that's fit into 2 brackets on the sides of the wall. You might be able to get your swords in there and try to lift it. It'd be loud, but you could do that. You could take some
He's
GM.
gone, by the way.
Going back down the canyon?
Yep.
Okay.
Trying to find a way around.
How heavy does the bar look?
Peering through the cracks, a little heavy. It'll take maybe at least 2 of you to stick your swords in there and get a good check to lift it up. It's got a little bit of weight to it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, if you have an idea, you can go first. If not, I think I have something that could maybe do it.
Let's say I'd kind of let Sylvia be in the road, kind of pick around their area to see.
I'm gonna take out my rope out of my bag
Mhm.
and my dagger, and I'm gonna tie my dagger to the end of the rope, and I'm gonna throw it over the wall, and
I
try and
can-
like. Sorry.
I can always just wild shape into a spider to climb over the wall.
Totally forgot you can do that.
And lift it up on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, I have some
Well,
stuff
if
I could
you
use
go
too.
to a spider, you could probably climb through the wall. Unless you're
Okay.
a fat spider.
So I will wild shape into a not giant spider,
Just a little tiny spider. You got it.
just a little tiny spider.
Woof.
I wonder if it must hurt when you shrink that much.
And I will stealth as best as I can to get the door open without them seeing me.
Okay.
So that is a 26.
Nice.
Pass without a trace.
So you turn to spider form, you crawl through the cracks, appear on the other side, emerge from spider form. Give me an athletics check to lift up the this large wooden palisade with a pretty good stealth roll.
Ooh.
On the opposite side, you can see Yuska's trying to pick it up, but it's caught a bit, and he's trying to be very quiet while he does it. So it's moving slowly, but he hasn't got it yet. But he's still pretty stealthy.
We'll just wait patiently until he gets it.
About 30 seconds pass, and then slowly sets it down on the side.
Do you need the rest of us to roll stealth checks now?
Yeah, and you got pass all the trace too, so you get +10. Silas, you're at disadvantage. 24, 18. It's pretty good.
Ink isn't there.
So the double doors, 2 wooden doors, open up, and you see Yusuke staying there, like, shh. And then about 60 feet past you see Ikanik walking away.
I will use a charge. Little buddy, I'll whisper, little buddy, we got the door open. We're going in. Come back.
Oh. Turn around. Okay. Just walk back.
Just watching the owl hop across the ground.
You all feel pretty stealthy for the most part. That wererat guard, luckily in the tower, you can all see him up there. He's sitting down. It's like a a half palisade opening, so you can just see like part of his head and part of his shoulders. But he's not paying any attention. The two wererat are very close to you guys, but they also are still oblivious to you. Ikanik is very stealthy.
I whisper to the group that I'm gonna go up to the watchtower and take out the guard.
Okay.
So I'll go all the way over there and stealth my way up.
Okay.
With my short sword out.
I'll creep in a little bit to leave some room for Silas.
There's no top part to this tower, so I'm gonna put him right there next to you. So creeping up the tower, it's takes you up about this is a pretty high tower, so it takes you up about 45 feet. There's no door really in this part of it. It takes you around a little bit to the side, which it would kind of put you like here. But he would also be sitting to the side away from you. There's also a that gap, so you could either open the door and get in there, or you could try to leap through the gap and get out to him. Either way, he is the same wererat guard though that wears the. He's wearing that chain armor. He has that same rusted longsword. But with sneak and cruelty, you could probably, if you get a good enough roll, you could take him out. One hit.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait until the others get closer to the other wererats on the ground.
Mhm.
And then as soon as they do, then I'm gonna attack them.
Okay.
With sneak.
You'd also in the tower. There's a trap door in the tower too that you can see that's closed. Like a wooden trap door that he lifted up to get up to this part of the tower.
Ikanik is following underneath Silas's steed.
Sure.
And I'll roll. It's 1d6 for cruelty, right?
Yep. And I think you get assassinate too.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
advantage. And at a surprise, so it's like a crit. I
Yeah.
think.
Yep.
Fucking assassin rogues.
What's wrong with them?
Why he wants to kill Giles.
So Sylvia,
It's just for how much damage they do, nobody plays them. Everybody does the arcane trickster for whatever reason.
at the top, Sylvia, you dive through the window and then get behind the wererat and you cut his throat across with your short sword, killing him.
Yusuke will motion at the other two wererats, like, kill them.
If you want to make attacks at the wererats, you guys get surprise around.
Yes. She'd come out from underneath the steed that we don't know the name of yet. I shoot.
Yusuke will come up to the close one
Things are,
and
like, bugged out. This is weird.
You trying to Eldritch Blast?
Trying to, but for some reason, all my things have been
Nothing
like
showing up there. No.
The two with the core staff. Pshaw.
and if he's still up, I'll Ursus Fury him after everything.
Short bow, Eldritch Blast, quarterstaff.
Actually, I'll just Ursus Fury him. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
for some reason, all my stuff is turned into spell card mode, so I gotta fix all that now. That's weird.
The two wererats are sitting there just starting to make this fire so they can cook some food, and as they're setting up this like half-eaten deer on this fire, then you see Sylvia pop up in the tower and look down at the five of you.
Give them a thumbs up and try and. None of you guys know thieves can't, do you? I try to like tell them with Sunlight, with thieves can't, that there's a trapdoor up here.
What does it look like? What does it sound like?
It's like you're throwing up gang signs.
It's like
I think he's trying to tell us something, little buddy.
But what?
Is he mouthing the words at all?
yeah, totally trapdoor.
I can read his lips.
I don't feel like that's thieves' camp then. You
Well,
just
I'm trying to like
say
tell you guys.
trapdoor.
If he
You guys don't know.
mouths trapdoor, then I'll say like, oh yeah, there's a trap door.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I'll mouth back, be careful.
With Yuska's blessing, I'm going to slowly open the trap door as quietly as possible.
You're still pretty high.
That was meant to be like don't fall in.
So looking down the trapdoor, it leads down about 20 feet from this ladder, and there's a wererat sitting in this small room. There's a door closed next to him. A couple quivers full of arrows tucked into the side. He has a longbow on his back, still wearing his armor, and he's sitting there. He's eating a meal. Doesn't hear your presence.
I'm gonna jump down and attack him.
Okay. Swooping down like Batman.
And I'll also use a cruelty die.
So with a 15, you land and you smash and you cut his armor, but it does no damage.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 15
crap.
doesn't hit. Roll initiative.
Oh no.
How did 15 hit the other guy then? Isn't he the same kind of guard?
You had advantage.
Oh, that's the point.
So the question is, would you guys hear
Well,
him
don't I
fight?
also have advantage on that guy because he hasn't attacked yet?
Yeah, but you only
Yes,
rolled a
but your
15.
advantage was a 12.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fair. Not bad.
Who am I
Welcome
missing?
to the real world, Rope.
So even though you landed and missed, you still go first?
Because I didn't hit him, do I still have the cruelty die?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll just take another swing at him.
Cool. He's no longer surprised because he just fell down and they swing with the 8 and miss.
Yep, I'll pass.
Yuska, you hear the faint sound of, but you're not sure if that means he killed the wererat or if he's fighting the wererat.
Let's go see if Sylvia needs any help, little buddy. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm assuming
Easy,
that
go
gives me
half
like
speed though. I mean, I feel like he's pretty proficient at walking with me on his back.
Oh, what were you saying? Oh, can you walk with you?
No, I was wondering if he gets half speed because I'm on his back. But this is like years of practice. It's pretty good leg strength, I think.
You also weigh like nothing.
That's fine. Yeah.
I think a bag of holding's heavier than you, to be honest.
Put you in the bag of holding and be like nothing.
Okay, so I'm assuming 30 feet of movement. That gives me 15 to get up to the stairs, 15 up the stairs. I'm like one more round to get all the way up.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not knowing anything else that's going on. There we go.
Eek.
Ooh, well, she's clearly not doing anything. Can I do a perception check to see if I hear anything on the other side of this area? Like where we think it's coming from, the trapdoor area.
Sure. Besides that initial jump down slice, nothing really jumps out at you.
Okay, then she is just going to do nothing. That's it.
Lucan. You saw Yuska and Eek rush up towards the tower.
I wouldn't say rush up though. We're just.
I'm sure Sylvia is fine. So I'm going to check out what this circular building is.
Oh, yeah, you can't hear the music?
No.
No.
It's in a thing where it plays through again and then it goes away.
So is this door by the circular building, can you see through the door, or do I need to open it to see inside the building?
So when you get towards this, the small circular hut, there's a crude leather tarp that fills the entire doorway. So you'd have to just push it to the side.
I'm gonna put Echo down, and I'm gonna take over her sight, and she's gonna like poke her head through the bottom of the tarp so I can see what's inside.
Okay. A couple things stick out as Echo pushes her head in. Because Echo never shuts up. Meow, meow, meow. In the center of this hut, through Echo's eyes, you see a massive stone throne. Crudely carved into the stone throne are howling rat faces on each armrest. The chair is clearly intended to intimidate anyone that comes in there that is sitting on the throne. The main things, though, are besides across behind the stone, there's another leather tarp that fills the space. There are two simplistic paintings on each side. On the left is an image of the strange aberration. It has a very sphere-forward body, like a circular body. And in the center of it is a great bulging eye that sits above a wide, toothy mouth. So it's in the center of the circular is a big eye, a mouth, and then eye stalks poke out from all sides.
Oh no.
We're so screwed.
Well, Lucan's gonna take in all of that, and then
Well,
Echo's also gonna walk to the next tarp. Oh, no.
On the right side, there's another image. It's a tall, slender woman with black hair, and her ears seem like they're like elven in style. In one hand, she holds a large beaker that overflows with this greenish ooze, and in the other hand, she holds the small fire, like there's a fire erupting from her palm. So there's
Really, that's not Zilree.
a circular thing on the left, and then there's the elvish thing on the right.
Weird. But yeah, after taking in that, Echo's gonna run to the next tarp and poke their head underneath. That's gonna be a good discussion later.
So luckily, Echo has a pretty good stealth roll. As she pokes her head in. The cave opening shows a connected pair of cramped chambers that stink with filth and debris. And debris just covers the floors. There's a half dozen sleeping mats are nestled into nooks and crannies through the walls. And you see some wererats. Some are sleeping, some are lounging in this small little, almost like a barracks.
Alright, I'm going to use my bonus action to resummon Echo to my side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to look up at Silas for like, don't go through that tarp. There's a bunch of wererats on the other side. Unless you think the two of us can take them. There's at least two of them. And that'll be everything that Echo or Lucan's gonna do.
Okay. Silas.
Alright. Taking Lucan's little spiel in the top. Oh, just do. There we go. He's gonna dismount and leave the steed at the door entrance.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was there. Just gonna wander onto this double door here. And kind of see if he can. Have the door shut, I'm assuming?
Your door shut. It's two wooden double doors.
Okay. Gonna try to listen to see if you hear anything on the other side.
Alright, make perception. With the 9, nothing really sticks out at you. Nothing jumps out. Seems pretty quiet behind the door. The stone walls are thick, but the door doesn't give off anything in the room.
So we're gonna slowly push the door open and see if we can see inside. Just kind of push one.
Slowly pushing open this room, the door leading towards Sylvia and the wererat is closed up the stairs there, but the door swings open. There's a worn carpet that stretches the length of the floor. Double door sits across from you on the other side. To the right of you on that curved part of the wall there is a map, and you can see some of the nearby areas painted on this map on the wall. The fortress that you're at now is in the center, and then there's lines being drawn to other settlements around the area.
So I wouldn't know where like all the lines are drawn.
So looking at it, you'd be able to pick out a couple, and there are indents. You can see a line drawn to Novavasi. You can see a line drawn, and you think that might be where the wererat laboratory was earlier. And then there's another line that goes past Novavasi towards the Raven Rust Mountains, and it says Lishkin's Folly Fort.
Well, since I don't see anything in here, I'll actually go inside.
You got it?
And, that'll be my turn.
The wererat's gonna take a swing. Gonna make his longsword attack on Sylvia. And then he's gonna try to bite you with his bonus.
Longsword misses, bite hits.
Bite hits for 3. So the wererat guard bites down on Sylvia, and then you would hear Sylvia recoil, and you'd hear him in a little bit of pain, kind of cry out in pain, which would be heard by Silas behind the doors. You guys would hear that too. Top of the round.
Alright, I'll take another swing at him.
$21 hits for 7.
And I will use my cunning action to disengage and run up this door.
Okay.
And when I see Silas, I'll kind of stand beside him and tell him that there's a wererat guard.
So you disengage, open the door, Silas is standing there. Silas, you watch him bust out, the wererat looking behind. He's got.
Well, now hearing that, I will bolt up, so 30 feet up, dash to the trapdoor, look down. And that's about all I can do.
You're not gonna hit him or anything?
I have to dash to get to the trapdoor.
Oh. Okay.
Because you said it was 45 feet up, I was 15 feet up the stairs, so regular movement to get up there. And then I'd have to dash to get all the way over.
Okay. So we are inside now.
So you're on his
I
shoulders
see.
on the top, so you can look down the trapdoor and shoot at him if you wanted to.
Yes, I would. How far away is from the trapdoor to the ground?
From the entrance to the trapdoor to the ground is 20, and then you are about 10 feet away from the trapdoor on the opposite side of the tower.
Okay.
Oh, I would have dashed to the trapdoor. So
Okay.
Wherever that is, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to hunter's mark this dude. And has he already taken damage this turn?
He has.
Yep.
Colossus Slayer. And short bow.
17 hits and 13 damage. He's unaware that you're up there, and all of a sudden this arrow just comes in and he falls to the ground.
He's dead?
He's dead.
Ah. He does that on Yuska's shoulders.
Good shot, little buddy.
Let's assume Yuska and he crawl down into the center here with Silas and Sylvia, and let's do our quick 5-minute break before he gets away from me. Before you guys keep going through this dungeon crawl. So,
Alright.
chat, we'll be
Nice.
right back. We'll see you soon.
Getting a coffee machine was probably the best decision I've ever made in my adult life.
Like a Keurig or like an actual like restaurant coffee?
Yeah, like an actual like restaurant brewed coffee. Fuck those K cups. I don't know. I don't.
Well, I have a thing that you can make like a full pot at least.
Yeah, I made like 4 cups of coffee, and I just drank all of that in my thermos, so I'm good to go.
Is it bad I have a Keurig and the only thing I make is tea? Or use it to get hot water?
I mean, the K cup teas aren't that bad. I don't know. I'm kind of an elitist about coffee.
My head is actually like killing me. So in response, like I would like to go over, but I'm totally okay if like I have to leave and then you guys want to continue because Eek is pretty easy to play.
Well, that's fine, whatever. I just kind of threw it out there as a question.
You guys should check out my pretty little drawing in the Rise of Harlock game channel.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's basically it, yeah. Some good art right there.
That is, yeah. Googly eyes. School.
Yeah, I don't even need my graduate degree, but I might as well get it. It's just the
It's like,
time.
yeah. It's like I'm one class short of a second major. Yeah.
What a dick.
Man, this episode though, so many backstory things. I
Yeah,
love
right?
it.
So I didn't really flesh out Eek's backstory because she doesn't really have one because she was with Yuska for like most of her life.
You can still like make something up on the spot. It's always fun to do.
Yeah, no,
I was kind of wondering if that was what your thing was going to be.
Yes.
You see,
I think
No,
it-
there is some stuff like before Yuska, but
I don't know, but that was the one thing that I knew about, or that
Yeah, I was waiting for it too.
I'm gonna put that Archway in a lot of games now, I think, just to do backstory stuff. Or flex
that was
RP
really
muscles.
good. That was real fun. Because now we can go to the campfire and be like, so, what'd you do to Sylvia?
So you've dispatched that guard. You've now walked into this room where the map is on display that Silas saw at first, which shows this station in the middle, this fort in the middle, and then shows the other. So Novovasi shows the wererat alchemist laboratory where you just were, and then it shows the Lishkin's Folly Fort by Raven's Roost. And the arrows drawn to each one from this center point. And you also saw the. Sorry, go ahead. You also saw you saw the painting of that strange beholder on one side, and on the other side you saw the elvish woman with black hair. That was in that circular hut.
Yeah, so Lucan's gonna rush in. He's like, that hut back there, don't go in there. There are wererats, and I'd rather not fight things if we don't have to. That being said, if we make noise, expect them. Also, some really weird paintings we need to discuss.
But we should kill them. They're bad.
They're sleeping. It's fine. We can kill them
They
on the
can
way
be
out.
bad and sleeping.
I would assume we'll have to deal with them eventually, so...
Yeah. Just say, just shut the doors to all these just to kind of make it a little bit harder to hear.
Okay.
And if we need to deal with them, I have a couple new tools that I can use.
With the 22, even though you rolled so high and you know the area very well, this must be a new fort that just popped up because you don't remember it from your past journeys.
Okay, thanks.
Assuming this double door is shut again. as well.
Yeah, double doors are shut. But even with even that bit of information that you don't note, even though it's so high, kind of gives off what it might be too. Gives off new stuff about it. But in front of you, the double doors are closed. There's 2 little latches that open the doors. No lock mechanism.
Is my arrow broken or can I take it back?
Roll d10.
Nice. And while I'm getting my arrow back, can I also inspect the body?
Sure.
I'm gonna go in there and take the arrows that he had in there
With
and
the
split them with.
2 of the arrows broken,
He has a longsword as well.
but
Investigation?
there were 2 quivers with 20 arrows apiece in that room.
Ah, 2 quivers?
Mhm.
How tall are they?
The quivers? They're the same. They're the size for wererat, so they're a little big for you. But
Okay.
the arrows will fit.
She takes out her arrows and puts them in the big one, but then she splits them up. So now they're equal almost, except her arrows are considerably shorter. And she wears both of them on her back.
Investigating the body, there's 12 gold pieces in the room, and there's also a topaz gem, small cut topaz.
Who's ever handling... Oh, as soon as she gets the gold and the gem, she'd hand it just like immediately to Yuska.
What does he have?
So
for-
both all of that into the bag.
How much gold in total do we have in the whole bag of holding now?
Did I put any in there before?
I think this is the first, because I took the stuff from the wererat.
So we have 12 gold pieces and topaz.
Logan, can you put my old quiver in the bag of holding, please? Or I mean the bag, the magical bag.
Yeah, I can try to. And
Lucan.
Oh, Lucan.
Because he has the bag.
He has
No,
the
you-
bag.
Oh, Yuska does? Oh, good. Okay, she's...
Yeah.
But I suppose I can hand it off.
Yuska will
She's just-
very confusingly put the quiver in the bag of holding.
Everyone's confused.
There's also a longsword and a longbow on the guard if you want to take those 2, but they're just random.
I'm gonna grab the sword at least.
Okay. You gonna do wield longswords?
Yeah.
Gotcha. With your new feet?
Yep.
Yo!
He takes longbow and puts it over his shoulder, too.
You got it. As you open the door to this room, the door opens into a chamber that's a small study. To the north, a staircase ascends to much more well-made double doors. To the south, a stone door set into the curved stone wall. And opposite the entrance is a bookshelf covered in dusty tomes.
Lucan's gonna walk in and he's gonna take a look at that bookshelf.
Peek through the door if there's no door actually there, or is it actually?
Yeah, so that's the little small stone door here, and then well-made double doors up here.
Okay.
Looking at the bookshelf, there's a whole lot of different, just strange book titles. Some are interesting, some are kind of off. Some stuff talks about the many deities of Erenel. Some of it talks about one's called Bodrick's Fantastic Adventures, and if you pick that up and look through it, it's just about a dwarf and his life. It's like a biography.
I'll take the dwarven biography as well as
Is
the
his
book on
name
deities.
Torker Murnhouse?
I'll type it out for you. Oop, big D. Adventures.
Oh god.
I'm gonna take a look through the doors up on the stairs.
Sure. So the
There's
doors.
somebody that has a name that starts with a T on that one.
The doors above you that Sylvia's looking at are they're very well made, and there's a large locking mechanism set into the center, and you'd assume at first glance it's locked. And then the doors next to Silas, there's also another locking mechanism into the door, which is also locked.
I'm gonna pick the lock for the one that I'm at.
Did you ignore Eek?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
No, it's Sylvia.
I'm gonna be putting my hand on this
Oh.
to give her guidance.
What did you say,
Not that
sorry?
she needs it.
She didn't say anything. She gestured with hand motions and mouthing the words as best she could in a similar fashion that you did.
Trying
on
to
the
thieves
tower.
can him.
See if you want the longbow. She's just like kind of shaking it in front of you.
Just throwing up gang signs at you if you want the bow.
No, I'm okay. I'll say, no thanks, I already have one.
Okay. Okay, you just got give it us away, please.
So the door that Sylvia is trying to unlock is locked with a 16, but you do have guidance. So you can roll a d4 and might help you out. At first, it's taking a bit. You'll be able to get it eventually. It's just going to take you a little bit longer than what would have taken because this lock is very well made. So it's going to take you about a minute, 2 minutes to get this thing unlocked. But
Just give me a couple minutes. I got this, don't worry.
eventually the lock gives way. It opens into a room that has a shrine in it. So you step into this room. Standing at one end of this long chamber is a marble statue of an elven woman holding a flask. She's dressed in a flowing gown and liquid tears streak down her cheeks into the pool surrounding the statue. The pool is crystal clear, cool water. Other than the faint splashing of the water to the fountain, the chamber is very peaceful. There's a wooden door in the eastern part of this chamber, and then another set of double doors across from it. Behind the double doors, very loudly, you can hear boiling sounds and sounds of wererats kind of scurrying about coming from this area. It's very loud.
Can I do a religion check on the statue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna do the same.
Okay. With a 15, doesn't look religious, but as you look at the statue, it resembles the art from the small hut that you just were from. It's very similar.
Odd. This statue is the same as the painting or design in the other hut. Chances are, I mean, it might be Zilree, perhaps, but either way, whatever it is, the wererats might worship it. There's no god I know of, though.
So is Zilree a god?
I don't
Some
even
have
know
been
if it's
full
her.
of themselves.
Looking at the pool, does it look unnatural at all to me?
Yeah, it looks pretty clear. It's almost looks delicious. Like if you want to take a drink, you could. Very crystal clear blue water.
Detect magic.
I don't want to drop pass without a trace.
What did you say that there was? I know you said that there was wererat noises to the north door.
Mhm.
Did you say there was anything for the eastern door?
Now, the east door is just a very simple wooden door with the iron hinges on the side.
I'm gonna open it.
Okay.
Slowly.
Opening the door to the east is piled high with boxes, barrels, and crates. Many of the boxes are empty, but you can see various common items like a rope, some makeshift clothing, buckets, various tools. It's like a storage locker. But if you did do some digging and there's any common items that you'd want to grab quickly, you might be able to find it in here if you spend enough time.
Okay. And can I do perception to see if there's like anything out of the ordinary or precious that might be more precious?
Sure.
He's gonna touch the water.
I see nothing.
The two, it's so cluttered, it's hard to tell. The water is cool and a little chilly. You look up and you see the fountain is just filled by the tears of the statue as it falls into the pond.
It makes her
Just for shit.
uncomfortable. She turns it back.
Just for shits and giggles, Silas will collect one vial of tears.
Okay. You fill a vial full of the cool statue-esque water.
And he's gonna I'm gonna actually go back and then roll perception in the room as well.
You got it.
No, before.
Question.
Yeah.
With the items that Eek tried to get for the alchemy kit, that actually isn't an alchemy kit because she didn't get enough parts. Did she get any vials?
You could go into that storage room and have a full alchemy kit if you wanted to. You just have to spend a couple minutes to gather the supplies, but you could definitely make an alchemy kit out of what's left in that storage closet.
She wouldn't do that. She would go in there and get some vials.
Okay,
And then
just
she'd
grab
come out
vials.
And yep, and she would fill up 2 vials like Silas did.
Okay.
Lucan's gonna stand next to the double door. Does his little chime, does it ring if he stands next to it?
It does. Ding 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 ding
I'm
ding
gonna
ding.
take a step back.
So,
Don't blink.
Anything
does it
to
still ring?
There's a shape changer within 15 feet of this door. So
Say
whoever's
when you
open,
step back, does it still ring in?
When he gets 5 feet away from the door, it doesn't.
so whoever's opening it, I suggest be the one who wants to enter first.
Is it locked?
It does have the same locking mechanism on the front, but you could try to open it without it being locked and see. They might have been lazy and not locked it, or there might be some crazy experiments going on that they keep it locked, or it might be a pen of wererats. Thanks for the follow, Kazak Kalui 1964. Hope I got it right.
Somebody want to try and open it, and then if it's locked,
So I can kind of give it a nudge or push, whatever.
Isn't there a lock on the outside?
Hmm?
So it's locked. We don't have to see if it's locked.
Might be. They might have not locked it.
so they might not like it.
Is it a padlock?
locked?
Because I'm imagining a
Is it
padlock.
locked from our side or locked from their side?
It's a keyhole in the door, like a keyhole in the center.
We'll try to just kind of nudge the door to see if there's any give to it.
So as you push it,
Freely open.
it opens just a little bit, like half a centimeter. Just
Can I kind of peek in and see anything?
You want to push it up enough to peek in?
Yeah.
Give me a sleight of hand plus 10. Because of pass without trace. You push it up in a bit, unbeknownst to the people inside the room. You catch a bit of an alchemist table, and you can see one of the wererat alchemists, resembling the one that you fought earlier, is looking over a cauldron and filling some vials. You also can hear chatter now that you open the door, and it sounds like maybe another 2 alchemists are in the room. Just by where you can hear sound, you can hear some sound coming from the east out of your sight. You can also hear sound coming from the north. The sound coming from the north also sounds like there is a fire of some kind, and you can hear the crackling of the fire.
I kind of look back and whisper to Yuska, I guess, and be like, there's probably at least 3 in here.
After he says that, I'm gonna sneak in.
All right, let's do new stealth rolls because I lost your once. This is with pass without trace. You get plus 10. 18, 26, 34, 28. Good old pass
Pretty
without
sure I'm
trace.
basically invisible.
Yeah. 16. Okay.
16!
So if you want to do this, you guys could open up with a surprise attack, and each of you could take an action, and you all would have a round to attack these guys before they would notice your presence. If you want to burst into the door and do this, we'll roll initiative. You guys will make your attacks, and then we'll do the rounds afterwards.
Yuska feels as though we should deal with these guys now before we fight Zilree.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I agree. Let's have a bonus round, surprise round.
Surprise round. It's one initiative.
Say a duel. You're gonna go Yu-Gi-Oh on us. I know it.
I have no idea how I can roll with advantage on initiative and still get a 1.
Yep. Because it's where the ghastly ones.
Well, luckily you rolled a 4 on the other one.
Ghosty ones.
Whatever. Crappy ones.
When did we decide that we were the ghosty ones?
It was a
Lord,
joke, and then
yeah.
Bruce was like, "Yep,
It's a good name. It's a really good name.
it's
Yeah.
a placeholder."
If you don't like Ghosty Ones, we can always change it. You are on the
So-
Gamingbrew.live website as Ghosty Ones, though, with your names around it.
Oh no.
Oh, it's me.
So you guys burst into this
Jesus,
room.
I rolled a high.
Just
Eek, are you sure you're having it grab the highest? Because it's saying 15 plus 1 in brackets. Then your 4 initiative from your...
oh yeah, that might be wrong. Let me look at your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not just grabbing the lower of the two every time?
No, it's a 1 because of some modifier roll to 1.
D20,
This is
D20,
1d20, 1d20.
and you got a plus 15 on
4.
your. So you rolled a 15 and a 1, and you got the 4. Okay, so it's only red because it's screwed up. So you actually rolled a 15 and a 1, and you get advantage on your 1, right? So you rolled a 15 and you rolled a 1. It kept your 15 out of the 4, but it kept
Plus
the red color because it's rolled 20
Because
fucked
you
up.
rolled a nat one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's doing it.
that's what it is.
So that's
Yeah,
right.
Either that or
I
you
got
have
rid of
plus
that one.
18 to your initiative.
Well,
That'd be
15 plus
amazing.
1 plus 4 is 20.
So just to give you some context in this room before you bust in, as you bust in, the main door opens into this long chamber packed full of alchemical gears and experiments across the 3 tables. Cauldrons stand similar to the laboratory you left, with volatile mixtures bubbling and brewing. A large furnace opposite the door, just behind the pool of water, with a statue again, looking like the one in the room you're in, but a much younger version of the statue. However, the statue that's in this room is not crying. It is instead holding an alchemical vial, and the vial is pouring out into this crystal clear blue water. There's also to the east a staircase that leads down, spiraling down deeper into this fort. And then the wererat has a pan over a fire, and it looks like he's melting some kind of silvery liquid as you rush in.
Okay, so can I go right here?
Is it just me or did her audio cut out?
Oh, did it? I'm gonna shoot
Yeah.
that guy, and then I'm gonna hunter's mark him first, and then shoot him.
You got it? Or rat's about to get exploded on. Shabam! He's dead. 10 points is enough to kill him anyways. He falls into the fire, and then his body just starts to erupt in flames, and this gross matted fur smell is burning off, and it smells
Wait, I
awful.
have a question. Why is it adding my hunter's mark and my damage? Like 4 plus 5 is
Oh,
saying it's both hunter's
Because
mark.
you rolled the crit.
Because the crit on the other one. It always doubles every damage, even though it shouldn't. But you're good. You did 10 damage, which was enough to kill him.
I'm gonna use the rest of my movement to move back. And I'll be done.
Silas.
Alright, Silas is gonna move here. And gonna take a double swing on the right hand one.
You got it. Action, bonus action, double swings. You said the right one? This one?
Yeah.
They hit with advantage. He's not dead, but you take both long swords and double cut into his back.
Should be it.
Lucan.
Alright, Lucan's gonna barge in right after Silas and Eldritch Blast, the same one he was attacking.
Eldritch Blast. Oh, 11 misses. Eldritch Blast explodes into that desk in front of the alchemist and just sprays up bubbling liquid into the room.
Alright, that's me.
Sylvia.
I'll run up to the one that Silas didn't attack and swing that.
You got it.
Oh,
16.
advantage.
Yep.
Great.
Just enough to get him. You got him.
Alright. And then with the rest of my movement, I'll move back towards the door.
You got it. Slide in. Gah! Pull it out. Yuska.
20. Seeing that they're the alchemists, Yuska will try to hit any of his vials that he has like on him with a produce flame.
This sounds like it's about to get interesting.
This is what I rolled for the wild magic.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Equilibrium!
Ah! So the fireball, the vial explodes, the wild magic goes off, and the fireball is cast centered on the alchemist.
Oh god!
Ah!
Yuska's gonna oh shit and cast absorb elements.
Silas make a deck save, and he's gonna make a deck save. That is hilarious. That's a fail. That's pass. I had to look up how many d6s I rolled again. 86.
It's not that terrible.
And Silas is dead.
You said 86?
86, 29. So Silas, you take 29. Yuska takes half, 14, and the wererat is just incinerated by this fireball.
I use my reaction to cast absorb elements.
Okay.
So
Do
is
you-
that half of half, or is that the other half?
You absorb 6 of the half.
Okay.
So 14 minus 6, 8. So you take 8 fire. Silas is just engulfed in this fireball flame. And the wererat, as the fireball fades away, the wererat is dead. But you're able to clear out the room successfully.
Did anybody else
Oh no!
hear that?
The roll is for the extra damage that I do on a melee attack. But I gain resistance to the spell.
Oh, okay, so you take half of the half, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you took
So that's
7?
7. So that's an extra
14 and
No,
7?
Yeah, I took 8, so plus 1.
That's fine. That was a very loud fireball. You just kind of stop and look around. You don't hear anything. Luckily, these are very thick stone walls. But you're now in this alchemical room.
Do these pots remind or look like what we saw in the other cave?
They do, yeah. They resemble the same wild magic pots that they were making before.
I'll do the same as I did before then.
So I'm gonna scoop some.
That's my bad, friend. Yuska will say as he casts Healing Word on Silas. And I will also toss you 2 bombs of the Summer Court.
Of anything to roll, I'll roll the fireball one.
Yeah, at least
Well,
I
that was-
survived the thing.
That was loud. I suggest we stay in this room for a bit to see if anyone
Plus 8.
heard.
Yeah.
You could
Or we
rush
could
in.
go down those stairs over there.
So you have the stairs that lead deeper into this fort. Most of the stuff on this
Plus
alchemical
the 5
table
from the Healing Word.
has been just incinerated by the fireball. A lot of the remnants on these tables are just burned and gone. You also have a stone door into the south down here, or you can go down the steps here. And then the statue resembles the same one that came before it, except it is a much younger version. The same elvish ears, black hair.
Can I collect more potion out of these cauldrons?
I like how Silas just gets hit with a fireball and he's like, eh.
You get that cool healing breeze from Yuska, and then you...
Yuska said, yeah. What can I grab out of here?
How many vials do you have?
That's a good question. I don't think I ever wrote vials down. I just wrote alchemist supplies. Well, seeing this, I'll run back to the other room and how many?
How much?
Yes, I should say at it.
How much time would you like to spend to search for vials and fill them?
We'll just take a couple, like 2 minutes to rummage through here.
Okay. Give me investigation. Yeah, while Silas is investigating and grabbing vials, do the four of you want to do anything else?
When the explosion went off, Eke ran into the room and she's like, "You scared? You okay?"
Yeah, little buddy, I would be careful with what they're brewing. It's a doozy.
It just looks really sad. And, like, pets some singed fur.
So 4 vials.
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't stick any of their vials into fire. That was not a good idea.
So I actually, before I would take any vials of the pots, I would take a sip of this water.
It's cool. You don't really much like it because you're sanguis, but it's cool water.
But that's it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll take 4 vials out of here. Then.
So you dip the vials into the cauldron very carefully and brew yourself 4 more of those potions that you had before.
Do I see Silas drinking the water?
Yeah, you'd see Silas drinking the water, going to the cauldrons, and then you see Sylvia going to the stairs and putting his head down and listening below.
Great. Eke is going to go to the water and taste it.
It is very cool, refreshing, clear water. Tastes good.
She takes off her quivers and she goes in. She's just gonna swim around, see if she can find anything on the bottom. Maybe.
Make an investigation check.
Yusuke's gonna listen around to make sure like nothing's coming through the doors or
Okay.
anything like that.
I'm going to actually use the healing potion I have too.
Okay. So a couple things happen. One is Sylvia, as you listen with a 10 down below, it's very quiet, very eerie, no sound. It is completely dark once you descend down the stairs. The stairs descend almost 50 feet to the bottom. But you can see with your dark vision, but it is pitch black dark. With a 21, Yusuke, no sound comes from the other room. Actually, no, you rolled a 21. From the door behind, from this door down here, you would hear the very faint clattering of pans and pots. It's very, very faint though. Very, very quiet. Eke with an 8. You find a little bit of like small bits of rock, but nothing that really jumps out at you. But you do feel like you're very clean, and you think Noala will never get into Yusuke's mind now because you're a cleaning.
I'm clean.
Is there? Can I look at to see what was in the pan that the wererat had?
Sure. Looking at the pan, he is melting silver coins.
I would wave either Yusuke or Lucan over and see if they wanted to take the silver out of the pan.
Sure. I'll take whatever silver I can grab and put it into the bag of holding.
So some of it is melted into the bottom of the pan, which you could take it and melt and make into a coin. But you're able to take 12 silver pieces that aren't melted yet and pocket it.
Eke would try to go over here back to the other fountain. Does she hear anything on her way over?
Do you want to make a perception check?
Yeah.
With a 15 passive? With a passive you won't hear anything, but if you roll high enough you might. That pot clanging was so light. You just hear the rushing water coming from the fountain.
Okay, I'm just gonna go climb into this fountain. I
Similar.
just want to iterate, like, it is a purely platonic relationship between the bear and the owl.
You're cold and cool. Thanks to your Arctic self, it is not uncomfortable. Feels good.
Do I touch the bottom? Do I need like?
Mhm.
Can I feel around with my feet then? Like, do I feel anything?
It's not a very deep pool, so for you to be about your waist.
Oh, okay. Should like touch the fountain, go behind it.
The elvish woman statue it's very well made.
She gets out of the pool and shakes off and feels really uncomfortable. She goes back.
All right, so well,
There's
before we
more.
go down those stairs, I suggest we check out the rest of this floor.
There's definitely some others, further down. I heard some pans.
All right, lead the way. I'm behind you.
So you just we'll walk up to that door,
I'll follow.
and I'll check it to see if it's locked.
It
Can I
is.
get their quivers back?
Sylvia, this door's locked as well.
It's an easy unlock for him. In with his unlock. So this opens up into a room. The door swings open and reveals a very well-made lounge. Off to one side is a pair of padded chairs that sit in front of a fireplace. The fireplace is lit by a very, very faint glowing ember that remains. 2 bookcases flank the fireplace along this curved wall, full of scrolls and books. Nearby, a staircase goes up to the 2nd level, and a door stands partly ajar, opening into a small kitchen into the south below the staircase. Although
I'll give everybody like a be quiet motion.
Lucan is going to look into the bookcases and see if there's anything of importance between the spells or the scrolls and the books.
Okay.
Sorry, did you say the stairs go up or down?
Stairs go up into the tower. And as you guys walk into this room, you also hear the faint sound of pots and pans banging in the kitchen.
Silas would say, "Send your cat to sea again."
Yeah, just a moment. I want to see if these bookshelves have anything of importance.
So the bookshelves, there's a couple things that stick out to you right away. One is there's a handful of diaries, and they all look to be a lot of the books on this bookshelf are covered in dust, but the diaries are not. They're like unkempt, or they're very well made. And there's also a very large ledger on this bookshelf.
What is the ledger?
So the ledger speaks of various purchases over the years for stuff similar to what you guys saw from Bairn. And then as you flip through the ledger, at the very end, there's also the purchases were made from Bairn for Hazim that Zilree has kept.
Alright, well, apparently Sylvia's hunch might be correct. Zilree might be here. This ledger talks about a lot of purchases between herself and Baron. And there's a lot of diaries as well. If we want to take a moment to look at these, it might be worth their time.
Silas gets bored and starts walking upstairs.
Well, we should probably take care of the person in the kitchen first.
Are there any pillows in this room?
You say pillows?
Yes.
Yeah, there's someone sitting on the chairs.
Okay, Eek would go over to one and grab it, hug it to her chest, and walk over to Yuska and say, Can you put this in the bag, please?
What am I putting in the bag?
A pillow.
That's a little buddy.
Do you want a pillow too, Yuska?
Sure.
Okay, she'll grab the other one. She'll give it to you. This is what D&D was for.
Collected pillows.
I'll
Thanks,
follow
little
past
buddy.
it.
Okay.
Say, can I peek through is this an open door here?
So if you go up the stairs, you ascend the stairs into a small hall and personal chamber. The curved wall of this chamber is covered in paintings depicting a young man, an older woman, and a younger woman. They all have black hair, long ears, and very slender builds. Each depiction shows the 3 family members working in the lab, smiling. It's like a large mural. They seem very joyous, very happy. And much of the mural is them working together in a laboratory.
Okay.
The older woman represents and looks much like the first statue that you guys saw. And then the younger woman looks very much like the second statue that you guys saw. In front of you also are double doors. There is a locking mechanism on the door, and it is closed. It's a wooden door.
Okay. Let's say, do we want to wait to do this until we find out what happens downstairs?
We can. Or we can just go in. We're stealthy enough. Are we still close enough to Yuska for passive?
Is it 30 feet?
It is 30 feet, I believe, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you still got it.
Zero the lockpicker.
Yep, 30 feet.
Oh no. Both of you guys make dex saves.
Oh god.
Also, I'd like to point out, since no one told Lucan no, he sent Echo into the other room under the pretense to let him know if someone's coming up, and he's just going to sit down and start reading the diaries, or skimming the diaries for anything important.
You got it. So the door that you guys are picklocking, you triggered a trap, and a cone of, like a burst of cold shot out at both of you. However, you both passed, so you both missed taking the 15 points of cold damage. You like jump out of the way, and the cold smashes into the wall behind you. The door remains locked. And then you hear behind the door, as almost as the trap has reset.
Should I try again?
If you want, I'll move out of the way of the door.
That's fine.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So besides it's the privy doesn't matter, but it opens into the door doors open to a bed chamber with a large bed opposite the door, flanked by a desk and a dresser. The heavy floral scent hangs in the air.
I'd like to investigate the room to see if I can find anything useful.
Same.
So as the two of you are upstairs, going through this upstairs room, a couple things stick out to you that are not very well hidden, and you get the sense that this is like a master chamber of this fort, like someone very important lives in this area. There are many letters from Hazim, speaking of various purchases made, very alchemical purchases. And there's also dozens and dozens and dozens of love letters from Hazim to Zilree. You also you find 53 gold, 86 silver, and 118 copper pieces, and a potion full of a greenish blue liquid.
Do you want to split the gold and the copper and leave the silver behind?
It sounds like a good idea. We can always tell the others to pick up the silver upstairs.
Yeah, that's true. Do you want to take the potion, or do you want me to take it? You see.
I can carry the potion.
All right.
So as Lucan is looking through this diary, he's reading through the diary. Ekin and Yuska, you guys are moving towards the kitchen.
Shoulders.
Okay. You can hear pots and pans slightly banging in the room as you walk up towards the door.
I'm going to open it, and if it's a wererat, I'm immediately going to attack it.
Sure. So it's a strange sight. You push open the door, and what you see is this room is full of dirty pots and pans piled high on the table. and then there's a fireplace sitting behind the room. There is a very small looking, fat, almost comedic-like imp. It has a wooden spoon in his hand, and he's trying to cook some kind of stew over the fireplace. And he has his back to you, and he's trying very hard to cook. And as he's spinning his wooden spoon, smashing against the pots and pans, this almost like porridge-like liquid is spewing up into the air. And he's like...
Eek stops Yuska from attacking.
Sorry to bother you.
When you speak, he turns and looks at you. He looks frightened. Master wants porridge!
Where is your master?
Do you have a name? I'm Eek.
My name is Virgil.
Hi, Virgil. What are you?
I'm a homunculus. What are you?
Can you repeat that, please?
I'm a homunculus. Verse of the Virgin.
5 times fast now, please.
I'm part Ursus. He's an Ursus. This is Yuska.
Hi, Yuska.
What you doing?
Making porridge for the master.
Oh, who's your? No, he didn't ask. Oh, who's your master?
My master's Zilree.
Ah. Oh, we're trying to kill her.
Raining. You can make one of these, dude. I don't have a different voice though. It's starting to flap its wings up in the air as it's holding the pot in this big wooden spoon.
Well,
does it taste good? Do you want some, Yuska?
He flaps over towards you and holds out the pan or the pot.
I mean, why not a taste?
She would follow Yuska's lead.
It is very uncooked and disgusting. Gee, is it good? Do you like it?
I think your master will greatly appreciate this. But I would cook it just a little longer.
I can do that. He starts turning towards the fire and he puts the pot on the fire and starts to stir vigorously. Just
let's go, little
Yuska,
buddy.
What's in porridge?
I don't know.
I don't think I've had that before. I don't think I like it. No, she has at the end. Howling Hound had porridge.
Mm-hmm.
She's criticizing him now.
He just, as he goes back to the campfire, he starts to stir hard.
As they leave, she says, bye, Virgil.
Bye, Kanik.
I want to keep him.
Lucan, as you're flipping through the pages, you've been reading some stuff that is very. It gives you great pause, and you keep reading through this diary. So for reading through this diary for a little bit now, as this has all been happening around you, you've spent a good 10 minutes reading. Some things stick out, and I'm going to kind of like summarize it so it's a little bit easier to digest, but some things stick out. This is a diary from Zilree. So it seems like that she was, that when she was very young, Captain Leandro Roarth had her and her family removed from Nova Vasi after they contracted the wererat curse while traveling back to Nova Vasi, leaving Braylet. They were leaving Braylet to come to Nova Vasi because they were potion sellers and remedy toxin sellers. Zilree had a brother who very foolishly fell in love with Lord William Ferrand's wife. The feeling was mutual with Mrs. Ferrand, and the two had an affair. This is after Zilree's brother became a wererat, and William Ferrand is the head of the noble of Nova Vasi, the Sanguis. The diary is from Zilree's standpoint, so the way she writes it, it seems as she believes that the affair was due to Mrs. Ferrand wanting to have revenge on her husband, because her husband would put to death every daughter born from Mrs. Ferrand. And William Ferrand would kill every one of his daughters because he wanted his firstborn to be a son, not a daughter. so that the son would be able to carry out his legacy at Novovasi. Eventually, Zilree's brother and Mrs. Ferrand became pregnant. All the while, William Ferrand thought the child was his. When the child was born, it emerged half human, half wererat, enraging William Ferrand, the Lord. In his rage, he killed his wife and Zilree's brother's child. Unbeknownst to Novovasi, William Ferrand, ordered Captain Leandro to hunt down and kill Zilree's brother for his transgressions. The diary continues. Zilree, her mother, and the wererat clan, already furious for not receiving aid and for being kicked out of Novovasi, would try to enact vengeance on William Ferrand, and they are the first creators of the Sanguis Plague 50 years prior. The Sanguis Plague was created and administered through the blood supply. Humans would inject themselves with the poison so that when the Sanguis fed on them, the poison would take hold and the Sanguis Plague would spread through Novovasi. William Ferrand would uncover the plot and kill Zilree's mother. Zilree escaped the slaughter and hid in this valley as she began to try to reenact her mother's creation to plague the Sanguis again. So as you go through the diary, you get a glimpse of Zilree writing all this.
Interesting. Okay. Lucan would, when finishing reading, would close it and put it back onto the bookcase, and then join up with the rest of the group. He does not share this information yet.
So we go from, hey you guys, what you doing? To newborn babies being murdered.
In passing, I would say there's silver upstairs if you want to take it. And I would go towards the stairwell.
I guess Yuska will go grab the silver and add that too.
Okay. You find 118 silver.
No,
Wait, it's 86 silver. 86 silver.
Eek wouldn't follow Yuska upstairs. In fact, she would get down and then kind of go back towards Virgil. She says, excuse me, Virgil.
Yeah.
Do you want to come with us, maybe?
Why?
Cause you can cook for us, and I know some herbs to add to your porridge to make it better.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, she is negative in that.
Can I see the herbs? He holds out his bowl for you to put it in.
She doesn't
Just
have
pour in one of the
anything.
vials of
She has a
wild
miss, Kate.
magic.
Wild
I don't-
magic.
Oh shit. Okay.
You're muted.
She's gonna take out the page explaining Resmir that Lucan gave her a while back. And she's going to rip it up in tiny, tiny pieces.
Okay.
And she's just really just crushing it all up, trying to rip it apart. And she's like, and then she springs it on like Salt Bay.
Oh, this looks
And then-
delicious.
But it kind of needs a set for maybe a day.
What? Master, you're so angry.
Herbs are weird.
Do I leave it on the fire?
Well, probably not this fire, because we're leaving, but you can cook it on our fire when we get to our campsite.
He starts to like slowly flap behind you. And he's holding his pot and his big wooden spoon.
How do you fly? Like, I can't do that.
Flap your wings.
Just going through the hallway now, flapping, with Virgil behind her.
Flap faster, faster.
She's like, hey guys, Virgil's coming.
Oh,
Guys, this
where are
is
we-
Virgil.
Behind you, you just hear ping, 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 ping as he's stirring his pot with his wooden spoon. She added spice.
Probably not the best idea.
We can't just leave him. He's our friend now.
He's gonna give us away.
We can
Oh,
come back.
Virgil, can you? Kurt,
Are you looking for master? tell her with
you're
my
looking for
mind.
master.
I could tell her with my mind. You want me to tell her for you?
Do not do that.
No, don't tell her.
Okay, that's all right.
Where is she? Where is your master?
Downstairs. He points at the staircase. You sure I can tell her?
Can you tell her that nothing's happening yet? It'll be a while.
But I don't. That'd be a lie.
Tell her you're putting herbs in her porridge.
I'll tell
Yeah,
her.
you're making her food
Let's do
extra
that.
special for
All
her,
right,
so
okay.
it'll be a while.
I'll tell her.
How about we tell her nothing?
He raises his spoon to his head and he goes, "Eek gave me spice." I told Master that she gave me spice. Make the porridge taste real nice.
Little buddy, what did I
melts
tell you about thinking before doing things?
As that happens, I'm gonna rush downstairs.
Okay.
Oh god.
I will follow. I don't know if I'll rush.
I'm gonna
I'll
follow
follow
close behind, but I'm not gonna rush.
Yeah.
This is the best thing that have ever happened. God.
So you guys are gonna be down here. I'm gonna ping it on the map and then drag you guys down here.
Okay. After everyone leaves to go down the stairs, I'm gonna ask Virgil to tell his master that there's a group of people that want to talk to her. She already knows someone's here.
All right. And he goes,
Make it diplomatic.
"There's people that want to talk to you, Master."
Virgil will be right back. Please stay here. Please. Don't get hurt.
He flaps over towards the fire and holds his pot over the fire and goes, starts to cook there.
Yes. Okay, sure. That's
As you guys rush down the staircase, the staircase, the spiral stairs, they descend about 50 feet before you enter a narrow hallway about 5 feet wide, 10 feet high. To one side, more stairs descend further downward, over here, to an iron door. The iron door has a very large lock mechanism on the front. Opposite it, to the south, is a very simple wooden door. It is very quiet. It is pitch black down here too, so once you get down here, there's no light.
I cast light then.
Yuka's greatest threat is his little buddy. Alright, you cast light. It illuminates the very well crafted walls, even though it's a little cramped, but you see the staircase that leads down to the iron double doors, and then, or the iron doors, and then the wooden door across from it.
So I'll go towards the wooden doors and let Sylvia decide if she wants to go towards the iron door.
Yeah, I'll go towards the iron door.
Okay.
And attempt to pick lock it.
Sure.
Yusuke will stand in the little cross section.
I will give
Ooh.
Oh!
25, nice. Alright,
And
so
you gotta stop rolling crits. How am I supposed to guidance you?
We are no longer the ghosty ones.
The nat ones.
Now we're the nat 20s. This is a problem.
Ooh, those guys again.
so the door unlocks. Oh, then we got the emotes. The emotes finally hit. Yeah.
Yay!
Wait, where are they? I don't see them.
Emotes.
Might have to reload.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the emotes are finally here. Finally. About damn time, Twitch. I just had to bitch enough on stream.
That Rusco face though.
Yay. Yay, emotes. Yay. The Rusco. Rusco face, best face. Yeah, last minute of stream, the emotes kick in, of course. So, screeching open with rusted hinges, the doors open to a room quite large with a ceiling 20 feet above. Now, here's the tricky part. So, to the north of the room is divided into 3 cells, each by iron bars. To the south is a high platform overlooking the cells. Now, this platform over here is 20 feet up, and the walls of this platform are very smooth. Like, it's meant to prevent people from climbing it. It's like an overlook into this jail cell, into this chamber. One cell is empty, while the other 2 contain the creatures similar to what you saw in Hasim's underground lair. These emaciated humanoids with their diseased, huge flesh, their eye sockets gaped open and worm-like tongues wiggling from their mouths. the same writhing ciliae covering their bodies and the two long tendrils that protrude from their shoulders. Unfortunately, both of the cell doors to their chambers are open. But they sit there unmoving. Just the ciliae is...
Well, hearing Sylvia pick the lock and actually opening the door, seeing the doors are open and what is inside, I'd say we shut the door and proceed the other way.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut the door and relock it.
Easy enough to do. Just... And then as you lock the door, you hear... Oop, didn't mean to hide all you. You'd hear against the door just...
Alright guys, we should go the other way now.
Sounds like a plan to me.
So before you, Silas, is just a wooden door.
No lock or anything?
No lock.
We'll creak it open to start.
Okay.
How high is the ceiling in here?
The ceiling where you guys are in the tunnel is 10 feet up.
Okay,
So
then
it's a little
you can
cramped, but...
maybe use good filter.
Okay. So this room opens into a large chamber. And as you step in, you see it's another alchemical laboratory. But unlike the one upstairs, it is clear this lab is only for one alchemist. Everything inside here is... everything inside here is...
There doesn't seem to be anybody.
Nah, it's meticulously cleaned. It's well organized. There are 2 cauldrons, although they are not filled with any liquid. The walls are lined with shelves holding glass bottles and syringes. These 3 things on the bottom here are 3 pits. But you can't really see what's in there until you come up close to it and look down into the pits. Nearby, a tall glass cylinder is full of a corpse. The corpse looks to be humanoid and is swirling in a green mist. There's also along the tables a couple books. The books are opened. And it's just the opening here opens into what you remember as the chamber. And even though they cannot climb up this thing, you can hear them banging on that iron door.
I'm gonna refill on vials.
Okay.
Can I try to put together an alchemy kit?
Let's see, how many vials can I pick as well?
Easy enough to put together an alchemy kit here. There's a lot of vials, a lot of alchemical supplies. You could probably grab like 10 vials in here easily.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Yusuke's gonna look down into the pits to see if he can see anything.
Sure.
Yeah, Lucan's gonna look at if there's any vials that are already filled, not with the wild magic stuff, but with something else.
Mhm.
And he's also gonna look at the books on the table.
So when you look down into the pit, there is remnants of a very congealed greenish sludge. But for the most part, the pits are empty. It looks like whatever was in these pits has been scooped. There's a couple of the vials on the desk too that have that same hard greenish sludge in them.
Does it look like the stuff that I picked up out of the room?
Looks much older. Like it's been given time to set almost.
So it's
Alright,
And-
I'm gonna grab one of those.
Okay. And then when you look into the book's open on the desk. They talk of something called a Meridian Rot. It describes how this Meridian Rot, if it is ingested by a sanguis, fungus begins to grow on their lungs within hours, and over a week's time it will eventually grow enough to kill them. After 3 weeks' time of growth, the fungus will die and fade away, along with any signs of the rot, which means that this plague is untraceable after 3 weeks. It just fades away and vanishes.
Okay. Lucan is going to close the book, and he's gonna grab some more vials.
Okay.
So I guess I'll grab 4 in total.
Sure.
Can I examine the corpse and the...
The corpse is a humanoid about, you would estimate maybe once around 6 feet tall, but it has since been charred and has shrunk a little bit inside this green misty tube. And the mist swirls around it almost like a cyclone in this mirrored encapsulated chamber, cauldron.
Does it look like a fresh corpse, or
Looks like it's been in there for quite some time. Most of the flesh has been either burned off or is missing.
This isn't natural.
I believe you're right.
In front of you is double doors.
Are they locked?
Nope.
I'm gonna slowly push open.
Stairs descend into a rough-hewn chamber, the far side of which looks like a natural cave. In the southeast corner, a passage winds off into the darkness. The sound of rushing water can be heard deeper inside this cavernous expanse.
Dang it! I think Virgil gave her a tip, and we gotta go chasing whoever their master is.
Yep.
Can I see if the station was left in a state of disarray?
Now it looks very well kept, very cleaned.
Oh, I'm gonna go in and start going down the tunnel.
You got
Should
it?
we call
I'll
Virgil?
follow behind.
We can come back for him.
Okay.
So as you turn into this cavern, a couple things jump out at you. The twisting corridor opens into a larger cavern filled with glistening stalactites and stalagmites. Puddles of brackish water dot the floor around you, and although the sound of rushing water seems to be close, the source is not in this room. Above you, two giant bats are coiled into the ceiling, unmoving, about 20 feet up in the air, their wings wrapped around them.
I'm gonna stealth past them and keep going. Do you need me to roll stealth?
No. I got your guys still familiar. It's all pretty good. You can slowly sneak past.
Alright.
Alright. As you guys slowly sneak past these giant bats, a couple things are going to stick out to you. The winding passage ends in a large cavernous chamber. Running through the middle is an underground river rushing east to west. A narrow bridge crosses the water. The narrow bridge looks slick, with the moisture and mold. On the far side of the chamber is an immense formation of rocks. A large black cauldron sits with a fire burning under its base. Light filters into this chamber from the twisting crevasses in the ceiling. Stepping out from behind the massive cauldron is a thin woman, pointed ears, with oily black and gray fur. She wears stitched leathers, bearing countless pockets and pouches, full of glass vials. She also holds a hand crossbow in her hand with a strange green vial attached to the crossbow. You have found Zilree.
How similar are her clothes to Noala?
Not very.
Okay.
She wears leather armor like Noala, but the depiction's a little different. She does give off a wererat appearance, although she looks to be like a much more clean, elegant wererat.
Okay.
Next to her is a being, a flesh golem, almost 8 feet tall, body stitched together, standing in front of her, almost like protecting. And as you walk to the cavern, because she was tipped off, she's waiting for you, and she says, "So you are the ones that are trying to track down Baron's killers, I would guess."
Yes, we are. We're the ghostly ones.
Ghostly
It's
ones.
Ghosty, okay? If you're gonna say it,
Ghostly ones.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, we're the ghostly ones.
Sorry about your
Our
friend.
original intent was to get back for Baron, but we have a more pressing issue at hand. Our companions, at least some of us, we don't like Frand, and we're willing to assist you in dealing with him.
Not if she's corrupting the nature around here.
We don't
That
know
has
that
to
she's
stop.
doing that.
And we also gotta figure out why she killed Baron.
So are you here to stop me from taking vengeance for my mother, my brother, his child, and my people?
Not necessarily.
I'm not. No.
She points at Silas. The Sanguis are wicked, worthless. They don't deserve your compassion. How could they? They live only to cause suffering and agony. They kill children out of spite and never look back.
That is your perspective of the Sanguis.
I don't have a quarrel with you. You may leave here and never look back, and I will never tell anyone that you were here.
We could do that after you answer some questions, at least.
She holds her hand crossbow with the green vial attached to the top of the crossbow. Kind of motions you to come inside a bit.
Well, let's start with the obvious one. Why'd you kill Baron?
Loose ends. Baron couldn't tell the Sanguis that he sold merchandise to. I will have this plague erupt through the Novavasi city.
But he was still what was sparking the rebellion, no?
Baron thinks he sparked the rebellion. He is but a pawn. As is everyone that believes they are part of the rebellion. This is the true rebellion.
A pawn of who?
The sightless one.
So are you upon this this one?
Never.
Well, apparently you betrayed him.
Because I did not do what he asks.
Pretty much, yeah.
He wishes to take the place of the Sanguis, not to rid the Sanguis.
So he's no better then.
Exactly.
But who is he?
He's the blind beholder. The one that cannot see, but because he cannot see, he can see all.
He is Sultan.
Yes, Sultan. The sightless seer. And when you're not able to do what he wishes, he will cast you aside.
Well, then he doesn't sound like he should be trusted either. Perhaps Zilree made the right call.
She makes a spectral image appear on the walkway leading up to her. She shows you what the sightless seer looks like.
That's ugly.
Beholder, eh?
The blind beholder who cannot see. Because he cannot see, he can see everything. He can see you here now with me. So tread carefully, for if you side with me, you are against the seer.
But you still killed someone.
And I will kill more.
See, now we can't have you killing all the Sanguis. That's the only problem. Can't kill all of them.
They hunt me like dogs. They killed my mother. They killed my brother. They killed my brother's unborn child. Fresh from the womb.
That's because they're under the rule of Fernand, and he is under the rule of Harlock.
Surely all the Sanguis can't be bad. Can we not just take out their leaders, their noblemen?
What do you propose?
Well, we start with Fernand, and we work our way up from there.
Could you promise that you won't kill good people?
No.
Well. She looks at you, Scott, expectantly.
Sometimes it is best to just wait and see, little buddy.
You probably wouldn't know too much about beholders. You would know that their eye stalks can charm or cast different types of magic. And they're very conniving. They're very, very, very anxious, so they take extraordinary precautions to protect themselves.
Well, if that is what the sightless seer is, I don't feel too comfortable working for such a creature.
Neither do I. Your concoction, these vials of green ooze, is it like an infection, or is it more like a poison?
It's an infection only for the Sanguis people.
But will it spread from one to another?
Here?
It will spread, but only if they ingest the slime after it is turned into a sludge, which is easily administered through the veins of humans when they feed.
So it has no effect on humans if they were to drink it?
It will make you sick, but it will not kill you. It will also pollute wildlife, but after some time the wildlife will be able to re-emerge healthy as before.
Then what are those creatures in the other room?
Those are Sanguis, on the verge of death.
Oh, okay. That's nice to know.
But are they on the verge of death?
Sometimes a concoction can take hold and the Sanguis grow extra limbs, but after the week's time, they will die. They can no longer feed or even breathe air.
But at a certain point, Sanguis do not need to eat or breathe.
If the Sanguis has turned ashen, it will have no effect as well.
Even Sanguis at a certain point do not need to eat or
Well, Sanguis that have been able to get by without ingesting will be free from this as well.
But if you plan to put it in every single human and non-human, then it'll be impossible.
You cut out the end for me there.
Oh, I said if you put it in every single human and non-human, then it'll be impossible.
You cut it in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's where I stopped talking.
It'd be impossible.
It'll be
It'd be
impossible.
impossible. Like impossible for
Oh, okay,
Sanguis
that's
to
fair.
not ingest it.
This is not a perfect poison. And ridding such a vile race that is so ingrained in the Nevermore Expanse is difficult, but it is what my mother was able to make, and it is what I have been able to make. We are alchemists.
After the human is done being sick from these vials, does the infection still spread to the Sanguis if drank?
If the human must inject the poison into their veins within 48 hours of being drank, after which their body burns away the infection in the sludge and will have no effect.
Hmm.
Now-
I think you have done more harm than good.
I'm going to insight if she's like maybe lying about people being like cured of this after a couple days, if it's not harmful.
With a 15, you get the sense that she believes that most of the time this happens, but sometimes it might not. Like there is cases where it's not a perfect potion or poison by any means. There are outlying cases of stuff that might happen from the poison. It's not FDA approved.
Well, we can't have genocide. It would be the same as if the Sanguis killed all of your people.
Which they already have.
Not all of them.
No, but they're breeding us like a bunch of livestock.
Will you be livestock or will you join me and be heroes, vanquishers, thwart tyranny?
You're hurting Dariel's forest, though.
Whatever it is you're making is destroying the wilderness around it.
Then you must die. And she pulls up her crossbow and begins to shoot.
God
And as she pulls up her crossbow to shoot, so we're going to end it for tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, you shit.
Was there any
I would
way to
not wanna
avoid
fight
that
her.
besides, like,
Neither
joining?
did I. I was trying really hard not to fight her.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure if Lucan's gonna like help with that fight.
If-
I get totally convinced.
Until you get hit by whatever the hell it is.
If you wouldn't have helped her with her plan, she would have fought you no matter what. She is bloodlusted because of her family being killed. So,
Yep.
the next game for Rise of Harlock is not next week. It's the week after on February 10th. Next week we'll do some campaign, some world building, and we'll pick up with this fight on February 10th. We got a one-shot part 2 of Assault of Gumdrop Mountain on Thursday. Then we have another one-shot this Saturday, which is the Red Claw Brewery. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked what you saw, you just started watching, that's alright. It'll be on YouTube if you want to catch up. YouTube in 24 hours. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you liked what you saw here. Give us a follow. And we'll see you at the next game.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
That Rizzo emoji. So funny. Well, I guess it's Ding Bang, but it's Rizzo. I have to go to bed. Sorry. Can't talk. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
Why do I have 2 locked emojis still?
You have to refresh the page.
No, the lantern and stuff like that, you gotta be
The lantern and Lee
higher
are
level.
locked.
Oh, you gotta be a 10 and a. You have to be a tier 2 and tier 3 sub.
Oh, you're muted.